pre-game party has just about run its course. It's down now to the serious business of winning a football game for the Frankfurt Galaxy and the Scottish Claymores. Good crowd once again in the Waldstadion, and Mike, I think this is one that both teams really feel they have to win.
The atmosphere is behind Frankfurt, but the pressure's really on Scotland. They're 0-2. They do not want to be 0-3 at the end of this game. They should have won their 2 games before this.
Well, here come the Claymores,
Ladies and
the sound of the bagpipes.
A ball game is about to begin tonight.
It's the Claymores offense that'll be coming out.
Please say hello. We are presenting the Scottish Claymores starting offense. Number 80, split end, here's Alan Referee.
The danger man from the Kansas City Chiefs.
Number 76, left tackle, Andre Hewitt.
Dukin on the block. He only joined the Claymores this week.
Number 64, right guard, Tim Ryan.
He's the leader of the offensive line.
Number 70, left guard, Hesham Ismail.
Big man from the University of Florida, 6'2", 288.
And the center, number 69, Dennis Dawkins.
The center's played most of his football in the Arena
Right
League.
tackle, 68, here's Ernie Rogers.
Played very well this season so far.
Number 83, he plays tight end, Dwayne Chandler.
Has picked up 5 catches on the year in his first 2 games.
Number 96,
Darryl Mitchell gets the start ahead of Tim Barnett. We'll see Barnett as well.
Number 10, Lee Williamson.
And a big chance for the man from the Houston Oilers to prove himself tonight.
Number 40, running back, Mr. Marcus Thomas.
Another man with a mission.
He is running back, Saran Stacy.
A very versatile athlete indeed, Saran Stacy.
Under head coach Jim Kreiner. Welcome to Frankfurt, folks.
So Jim Kreiner and the rest of the Claymores come out to what can only be described as a most uncomfortable welcome. But we were talking to the Claymores yesterday and earlier today, and they said they didn't mind what the atmosphere was as long as there was a big crowd. And I think that wish has been answered, but nevertheless, this is going to be quite a test for these Claymores, because the Galaxy players really are heroes here in Frankfurt, and they're about to raise the roof in the Waldstadion.
Frankfurt Galaxy's starting defense. Say hello to number 63, left tackle John.
And you can hear that noise as they introduce Frankfurt's defense. John Baker from the LA Raiders. Moved to tackle by Ernie Staudtner. Donald Reynolds, he's strong in the middle.
Number 58, left linebacker, here's Nate Dingle.
Record holder for number of tackles at the University of Cincinnati, Nate Dingle.
Number 56, Dean Lytle.
Dean Lytle from Notre Dame, Dino Bravo.
Middle linebacker number 54, ladies and gentlemen, Mike Stonebreaker.
Notre Dame University and the Chicago Bears produced Mike Stonebreaker.
Left end number 66 is Mike Carr.
Ernie Staudtner says Mike Carr's got NFL potential.
And number 74, David Wilkins.
And he's got 2 years in the NFL as a top pass rusher.
Cornerback number 21, here's Jack Kellogg himself.
4 interceptions already this season. He's tearing up the World League. Jack Kellogg, the cornerback.
Chris Hall.
Chris Hall, pretty good himself on the other corner.
Safety number 29, ladies and gentlemen, Greg Briggs.
Greg Briggs, strong safety out of Texas Southern University.
42, Johnny Dixon.
And Johnny Dixon's a hitter at the free safety. And this guy knows defense. Ernie Staudtner, all-pro defensive lineman with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And he can still run with just a little.
So the fans are ready for action. The Galaxy are certainly ready for action. And we'll be back for the kickoff after this. You're watching the World League of American Football.
that a player gets himself in shape, ready to play, weight training and all of the other things that improve a player to get him ready to play the game are certainly at the highest level that they've ever been. But when you go back to basics, and that's the old way of saying it, you have to go back to basics, and that's blocking and that's tackling.
NFL Sunday Ticket, up to 13 NFL games each Sunday. To sign up, call DirecTV at 1-800-781-4DTV.
Let there be football.
All right, here's what we've got. We're being bombed.
I've come here to create a new country for you called chaos, and a new government called anarchy.
His name's Ryan Garrity. According to the report, the guy can build bombs out of biscuit.
Blown away. Now playing on DirecTV.
Purple haze has descended on the Waldstadion as the Galaxy faithful are out in force. 2 weeks ago it was party time here as the Galaxy downed the London Monarchs. Tonight they'll be looking to complete a Great Britain double whammy when they take on the Scottish Claymores. We're ready for the coin toss.
Let me give you a coin real quick. Don't hit anybody. Don't spend it all in one place.
Looks like the Galaxy, so the Claymores have called it. So the Claymores have won the toss and they will receive first of all. I think most teams in that position would do that, Mike.
Especially here, you want to get on the board quickly. You want to quiet that crowd down as soon as you can.
Well, talking to Jim Kreiner, he was saying this team is ready to break loose. They're 0-2, the only team in the World League without a win, but it could so easily have been 2-0.
And their defense has played really well. They've had a lot of trouble with the offense, but part of that has been that just before they came to Scotland, they lost both their offensive tackles. They finally got a line together they want. Andre Hewitt gets the start at left tackle.
Well, Jim Kreiner with plenty to think about. Ernie Stautner, his counterpart, celebrated his 70th birthday just 2 days ago. They brought a great big cake onto the practice field for Ernie, and he thoroughly enjoyed that. 70 years old, but hasn't lost his enthusiasm for the game.
Doug Williams of Scotland thinks that this is the best defense they've gone up against, especially the front seven, linemen and linebackers, and that's because of Ernie Stautner.
Well, I think there's an interesting bit of kidology there, because Doug Williams says that Frankfurt's defence is the best in the league. If you talk to Ernie Stautner, he says the Scottish Claymores' defence is the best in the league.
Nobody wants to make themselves look bad.
Darren Alcorn will get things underway. Siran Stacey is one of the deep men back for the Scottish Claymores. They won't be using Alan de Graffenried. They don't plan to use Alan de Graffenried too much. Joe Mickles is there at the front. He's the short man, the big, solid fella. But de Graffenried, who gets worked so hard, they even play him as a defensive back. They don't think they're going to be seeing him in too many return situations. So Siran Stacey from Alabama is the man they'll be looking for. So it's game on here in the Waldstadion. The Frankfurt Galaxy against the Scottish Claymores. And we're off. Stacey collects at about his own 4-yard line. Hurdles a couple of tacklers, but is down at around the 29-yard line. Johnny Briggs came in on there. Lee Williamson gets the start at quarterback as they continue to rotate their two quarterbacks. Lee Williamson, an allocated player from the Houston Oilers. One of the team's practical jokers, but he won't be joking around tonight. This is serious stuff for the Scottish Claymores, who will begin at their own 30-yard line. And the crowd immediately getting into it. Williamson pitches back and cutting inside and looking for a running room is Siran Stacey, who picks up maybe 4 or 5 yards before Mike Stonebreaker gets a hold of him. These are the backs and receivers that Williamson will be working with. Stacey and Thomas in the backfield. De Graffenried and Mitchell gets the start. Dwayne Chandler, a very underrated tight end. He's made a solid beginning to his World League season. Second down and around 6 after the 4-yard gain from Stacey. The Claymores looking to establish that running game. And they give it to the big man Marcus Thomas, who goes nowhere fast. He was wrapped up by John Baker. The offensive line, this is as good as it can be now. Andre Hewitt, the new man in at left tackle, Ryan, Ishmael Dolke and Rogers, they're pretty well settled. And Jim Greiner was saying he's happy with that group now. He's got who he wants, where he wants them.
And you see why John Baker's in that starting defensive line. Great pursuit to make that tackle.
Third down and 5 for the Scottish Claymores. A big down right here on the opening drive. Williamson dropping back to pass. And he's got a man, has he? Or are they saying it was incomplete? They're ruling that it was there as a one-hopper. Cecil Doggett, the nickelback, credits himself with the tackle there, but I think or the breakup, but it looked like it may have been slightly underthrown.
Exactly, and I think Lee will probably be kicking himself on that because the pass was there.
So 3 and out for Lee Williamson. Arden Krzyzewski will handle punting duties for the Scottish Claymores.
He's had a lot of rest this week. He says his foot's feeling strong.
And he's got a good one off this time. Fair catch called for at the 21-yard line. That was a superb kick from Krzyzewski.
And he was right. He was telling us a couple of weeks ago that punting and place kicking was taking a lot out of his leg. He feels a lot better now that he's rested.
Jim Miller, an NFL allocation player from the Pittsburgh Steelers, gets his second start. He started the opener against the London Monarchs. He'll give way in the second quarter to Paul Justin. But Miller has got a few things to prove in this World League. Justin's numbers are absolutely superb so far. Miller not quite up to that pace yet. And he takes over at his own 21-yard line. And he too looks to establish the run, and he's got some running room straight away. A pickup of around 9 yards from a fellow we're going to see a lot of this afternoon, Nate Bolton. Nate Bolton, who's come in for the injured Kevin Williams. Sean Collins will play at the H-back position. Mario Bailey and Bobby Olive out wide. Clarence Williams gets the start at tight end over Bob Brasher, who is carrying an injury. He could play if he's needed, but Williams, primarily a blocker, gets his chance tonight. Second down and 2 on the gain of 8 yards from Nate Bolton. Fakes the handoff, pressure coming up the middle. Miller evades the rush and gets it off, and a first down. Nate Bolton skipping and weaving and dancing. They love this fella here.
And that's what Crazy Legs will do for you. Ingo Seibert named him Crazy Legs. You get him the ball, a lot of good things happen. Good job by Miller avoiding that rush by Tim Brown.
Tim Brown came through like an express train, but Jim Miller held his nerve.
Brown's going to come in from the right linebacker spot. He doesn't buy the play action fake, which you see right there. And Miller is inside him, gets away, and now he knows Nate Bolton's gone to the sideline. He waits for him to come open, gets him the ball.
A little swing pass to Bolton once again. They are using Bolton heavily. 5 yards on the little swing pass from the man they call Crazy Legs. What? Let's take a look at what Jim Miller is working behind. Stubbins and Vickers, both from the NFL. Mills and Stark are starters. Mark Dixon comes in for Olaf Hampel at right guard. Hampel has been sick this week but can play tonight.
Similar offensive problem for both teams. They want to get the ball to that single back. Stacey for the Claymores, Nate Bolton for the Galaxy.
Second and short for Frankfurt. This is a great situation to be in offensively. The handoff is once again to Bolton, who gets first down yardage and not an awful lot more before he was tripped up by middle linebacker Brian Jones. Jones will be busy. They're playing a 4-3 front as usual. The Scottish Claymores, Young and Brand, will be looking to establish the rush. Jeffcoat and Ridgely in the middle will be looking to seal the run.
And a real problem, you saw Brian Jones just loosening up there, but a real problem for the Claymores if a linebacker is hurt because they don't have any backups.
Third down and a long 2 for the Frankfurt Galaxy. Pressure coming, but he's being well looked after at Miller. Delayed too long, couldn't find an open man, and Alan Young finally beat his blocker. They left it too long. Nice coverage in the backfield by the Claymores because Miller had enough time to unload it, but no one was open. Let's take a look now. You see only 2 linebackers, 5 defensive backs. The linebackers are moving the way Miller's moving. That's why no one's open inside. And by the time he goes to look around to the right, he's sacked. So it's a punting situation 2 for the Galaxy. Stacey Fields beats his first man. Doesn't get an awful lot more, but he beats the first man, which is what he was looking to do, and that will give the Scottish Claymores pretty decent field position. They'll take over at their own 37-yard line when we return after this.
And to this reporter, it's obvious that these strike negotiations are going nowhere fast.
Well, I've had just about enough.
Let's go.
Excuse me.
Love the shoes.
Life is good.
When you've got the great taste of an ice-cold Miller Lite, life is good.
Our work here is done.
Play ball.
While NFL action is still months away, the NFL has launched a new season on the internet. NFL Sidelines is an online connection to your favorite teams and players. Connect on the net with NFL fans around the world and chat live with the biggest names in football.
This movie is rated R.
Plus special coverage of the 1995 World League season. The NFL moves into cyberspace with NFL Sidelines. Tackle the internet.
These drug cartels represent a clear and present danger to the national security of the United States.
It is my duty to report this matter to the Senate Oversight Committee.
I will not let you dishonor their memories by pretending you had nothing to do with it. How dare you come into this office and bark at me? I am the President of the United States. How dare you, sir?
Harrison Ford. Clear and present danger.
Playing this month on DirecTV.
Scoreless here at the Waldstadion. Both teams have had one opportunity, but defences have held firm. So Lee Williamson will look to get the Scottish Claymores established into some kind of a rhythm. They must, Mike, they were saying they must establish a running game here tonight.
They want to do with Sir Stacey exactly what Nate Bolton was doing for the Galaxy. They want to get him the ball running and pass it to him, get him open field one-on-one with tacklers.
So first down for the Claymores. Stacey is in the slot, and Williamson hands off to the big man Joe Mickles, who gets gag tackled and goes down heavily for a loss. David Wilkins and Dean Lytle in on that one. David Wilkins, a real impact player from the defensive end position. There's Dean Lytle, he was in on there as well, getting his first start of the season. Marcus Thomas went down hard. Wilkins and Kerr on the outside. Reynolds and John Baker from the Los Angeles Raiders comprise a tough, no-nonsense defensive line. Second down and about 14 for the Claymores after that loss. And the pitch out, and a lot of running room here for Marcus Thomas, who gets close to first down yardage before he gets pushed out of bounds by number 56, Dean Lytle, making another stop there. Lytle getting a start today because Sean Smith is playing hurt, so we have two former Notre Dame players playing at linebacker. The other one is Mike Stonebreaker. Nate Dingle has been very solid from his outside linebacking position as well.
Nice job by Williamson and Thomas on the little swing passes. Thomas just swung out of the backfield into open space. They let the rush come and then threw the ball over the pass rush.
Third and short. And they give it to Thomas, who picks his way through for first down yardage before he gets wrapped up by Greg Briggs, the strong safety. In fact, it's Joe Mickles making the play there, another one of those big fullbacks that they've got. Chris Hall and Jack Kellogg are on the corners for the Galaxy. They have 7 interceptions between them. Dixon and Briggs trying to seal things up in the middle.
Hesham Ismail started to tackle the first week. He's playing center now. He did a great job blocking on that play.
First down and 10 for the Claymores on halfway. Williamson hands off once again to Mickles, who picks up maybe 2 before he was nailed. The Galaxy were looking for him there. Mike Kerr, I think, made the stop.
Good fire out by Dennis Dalkey, the guard, but Kerr came in behind Ernie Rogers to make this tackle on that.
That'll bring up second down fairly short.
Kip Vickers was not very amused by whatever was going on there on the bench.
Certainly wasn't, was it? That was a mean look.
I think he's following the game, you know.
Second and long for the Claymores. The pitch back once again, looking for Stacey. Stacey with some running room, gets a couple of good blocks and gets close to first down yardage before he's corralled by Chris Hall coming up from quarterback. but some nice blocking there sprang Stacey.
You got it. Joe Mickles doing the block. Watch Mickles from the fullback position. He's the lead blocker there on the left of your screen, and watch the job he does here. Stacey gets the ball. Now Mickles sees the linebacker, pushes him right outside. Stacey reads the block, cuts inside of that, picks up the extra 6 yards.
And a first down. That was Dean Lytle that got blocked there by Big Joe Mickles, the former Barcelona Dragon. First down, 2 in the backfield for the Claymores, and the give is to Stacey, who fools everybody and picks up around 5 yards. Good play action there,
including himself, because he slid there. He was trying to make his cut and he just slid over, but he managed to stop, make a second cut, and still get yardage. Saron Stacey, one of the top running backs in America when he played college ball at the University of Alabama, rated just behind the Monarchs' Tony Brooks, and you can see why.
Well, they say he could be the best running back in this World League. Second down, Stacey gets the call once again and looks for running room and doesn't get a lot and is nailed after a gain of maybe 2. David Wilkins, the defensive end, was in on the stop.
Big hit on the tackle there. Ernie Staudner likes what his defensive line's doing. You see, the Claymores are trying to establish that offensive line. They think they've got the line they want now, and they're running right at him, right behind Tim Ryan, 64, but they get stacked up that time.
So another big third down for the Scottish Claymores. De Graffenried goes wide right. We haven't seen De Graffenried or Barnett so far. Williamson drops and looks for De Graffenried and overthrows him. Coverage was there from Jack Kellogg.
And that one was there because Kellogg was playing De Graffenried right at the line of scrimmage. Williamson saw that and he figured De Graffenried could beat Kellogg. He did beat him. The pass was there, it was just a little bit too high.
That could be a key matchup. Jack Kellogg against Alan De Graffenried, 2 NFL players. And Arden Krzyzewski back out on the field. Gave his team pretty good field position with that first kick.
This time he'll want to be going for the corner, try to put it inside the 10.
Just gets it off before the pressure, and it goes into the end zone. Great pressure coming from Dean Lytle straight up the middle.
And a real good job by Krzyzewski because he only missed by about 2 yards. He got a nice kickoff, a couple of yards less power, and it would have been perfect.
Well, a big game for both these teams, especially Scotland, who are sitting at the bottom of the table at the moment, 0-2. It could so easily have been 2-0. Amsterdam have had 2 squeakers, but they've held on both occasions, so they're top of the pile, and everybody else all stacked up at 1-1. This one's still wide open.
And remember, the team with the best record at the end of the first 5 games gets to host the World Bowl.
Barcelona currently playing the Rhine Fire. We'll give you some details on that one later on. Tomorrow, the London Monarchs kick off their home season at White Hart Lane against Amsterdam. Make sure you're there for that one. First down at their own 20 for the Frankfurt Galaxy. They hand off to Nate Bolton, who is nailed at the line of scrimmage. Tried to do some ducking and diving there, the man they called Crazy Legs, but nothing doing for him there. Looked like Brian Jones came in and made the stop. Of course, Bolton's numbers from last week came out and really made an impact in for the injured Kevin Williams. London Monarchs fans will remember him. 76 yards on 1 rushing touchdown against London just 2 weeks ago. Second down and long. And Miller throws the ball into the ground. They're saying they will rule. No, it's been given to the Scottish Claymores. Alan Young has recovered it. They've said it's a fumble. Miller was arguing an incomplete forward pass.
Now, we've seen this one before in Barcelona last weekend. Brandon's going to come in and hit the ball as he's throwing. And watch Sander, who's on the left of your screen now. Brandon also coming from the left outside. Miller's looking to throw. He's bringing the ball back. Now, what they're saying is he hasn't started his forward motion with the pass. Although he started his passing motion, the ball doesn't come forward. Watch, it goes back and it's knocked away. That's a fumble. Sander falls on it. Claymore's ball.
The first big play of the game goes the way of the Scottish Claymores, who recover it on their own, or rather on the Galaxy 14-yard line. And the give is to Stacey, who breaks one tackle and pushes forward for about 5 yards, and that will give the Claymores a lot of encouragement. They've said they must establish the running game, and they're making some yardage here early.
And when the line's not doing the whole job, Saron Stacey does it by keeping that leg motion going.
There's Ray Wilsey, the defensive coordinator of the Frankfurt Galaxy, sending in the defensive signals. The former London Monarchs head coach, of course, still one of the best defensive minds in the game.
That Monarchs defense in the first year was tough.
Second down from the 10. Stacey gets the call once again and barrels his way close to first down yardage. This impressive stuff from Stacey. Johnny Dixon on the stop, but that's going to be close to a first down.
And impressive stuff from the Claymores line. Tim Ryan cutting through the hole there and opening it up for Stacey. Textbook stuff, trap blocking.
Third down and short from the 5. Scotland's problem this season, they get this close and they come away empty.
9 times in the last 2 games.
And they're desperate to change that around. Third and short, Joe Mickles, virtually unstoppable in short yardage situations, and he gets to about the 2. It'll be a first down, Scottish Claymores. Would you want to tackle Joe Mickles in a short yardage situation? That's asking for trouble.
David Wilkins got a piece of him as he went by, but it wasn't enough to stop Mickles going full speed. Another one of these good fullbacks in this league. He can block, he can catch the ball.
Lorenzo Graham has checked into the lineup. Look at those numbers, 11 rushes, 3 passes. This from the team that's had the poorest running game in the World League so far. First down and goal from the 3. Claymores give to Stacey. Stacey goes in, touchdown Scotland. Straight down the middle.
And it's quiet here in Frankfurt.
And just as you said that, Mike, the jeers went up. But that was impressive from the Scottish Claymores. They ran it down the Galaxy's throats.
And Ernie Staudtner is not used to having anyone run down the defensive line of the Frankfurt Galaxy. Stacey was saying it takes a couple of weeks for the backs to learn the linemen, to learn when to make their cuts. And on that touchdown run, you're going to see later on, he makes the right cut.
So Arden Krzyzewski, who's already warmed up his leg with a couple of punts, will attempt the extra point. And that sails through the uprights, much to the chagrin of the Frankfurt Galaxy faithful. So it's the Scottish Claymores on top. 5:08 left, first quarter. You're watching the World League live here on Sky.
Abilities are on the sideline. If I want or need any information from up above, I can always get it from my assistant coach on the sideline that's got a headset on. But when I go into a game, I want to be totally prepared on each and every situation that I'm confronted with, and I don't want interference or listening to what somebody else thinks.
NFL Sunday Ticket. Up to 13 NFL games each Sunday. To sign up, call DirecTV at 1-800-781-4DTV.
Let there be football.
One of my patients was killed last night.
The more innocent she seems,
I don't really know you. You have all the power.
The more suspicious he becomes.
You're trying to see me as a case instead of as a female.
The more passion they share, the more danger he risks.
I'm not who you think I am.
Bruce Willis. No! Color of Night.
Playing this month on DirecTV.
A great start for the Scottish Claymores. Siran Stacey with a 3-yard touchdown run puts the visitors on top early here against the Frankfurt Galaxy. This a game they've got to win, and they've got to win it by running. Well, the early signs are encouraging because they're running this ball very effectively. Krzyzewski, who just nailed that extra point, will kick it off. It'll be fielded at around the 16-yard line by the Galaxy. Jack Kellogg looking for running room up the middle and getting some to around the 36-yard line. So let's take another look at the Stacey touchdown run.
Watch Tim Ryan, number 64 on the left of your screen. It's his pull block. Stacey waits for him to run by. It's a classic trap. Now you'll see from the side, third man in. That's Ryan, 64. The man comes through and he's trapped right there. Ryan pushes him out of the way. Stacey glides in for the touchdown, and Ernie Staudtner, not a happy man.
Well, the old defensive lineman himself, unimpressed by that. And I tell you, during the commercial break, he was having a real go at his defensive line. That will have shaken him up a bit. First down, Miller gets some pressure from Mike Brandon. Looks to get one off, and it's couldn't quite find the receiver he was looking, I think, for Mario Bailey.
Just good job by Miller of getting rid of the ball. Good pressure from Brandon, and then following up Troy Ridgely. Miller rolls out now. He goes inside the pressure, now rolls to the outside. He's looking for Bailey the whole way. More pressure coming. Unloads, and Ridgely coming close to a late tackle on that. You got to be careful.
Second down for the Frankfurt Galaxy, trailing by 7. Miller gets some protection this time. He's got a man, but it's broken up. Expertly broken up there by James Williams, coming back from the cornerback position and breaking up what looked a certain completion.
Good job by J-Dub on the corner, but Nate Bolton was out in the flat all alone, came out of the backfield and was standing there with lots of room and lots of space.
And if you give Nate Bolton too much room, he's going to burn you. That was close. You see Sean Collins, number 82 for the Frankfurt Galaxy. He's playing hurt. Mario Bailey, number 81, one of 4 wide receivers out for the Galaxy on third down. Pressure coming and nowhere to go. Alan Young came one way, Mike Brandon came the other way, and they got him.
Young took the inside route. Brandon came from the outside. You get caught in the pinchers movement. Miller comes back. Young's going to come from the right, coming from the inside. There he is. He dodges that, but Brandon's coming from the left on the outside and nails him.
And you have to feel some sympathy for Jim Miller there. There was nothing he could do, and these two fellas are coming at you. You can get past one, you won't get past both.
You win football games in the trenches, and right now it's the line for the Claymores on both sides that's doing the job.
Saran Stacey will take this at around his own 18 and does a good job of fielding the ball, but also doing a good job of making sure he doesn't get any kind of return with the Frankfurt Galaxy return men.
And Darren Alcorn did a good job of punting that ball because he got it up there. It was drifting long, but it was so high, it gave the coverage time to get underneath.
Well, one of the features of the early weeks of the World League has been the, should we say, the eccentricity of the punters, but both these two fellas today have really been booming them.
Most of the teams in the World League using one player to both punt and place kick. It puts a lot of strain on your legs. It's two different techniques. They're just starting to get into the swing of doing it.
Lee Williamson takes over at his own 20, having just generated one scoring drive. Looks to keep it on the ground. Marcus Thomas goes barreling through there with, I think it was Mike Stonebreaker on his back. And Tom Cavallo it was, the backup inside linebacker.
And look, you saw the firing out that the line did there for the Claymores. They're opening up big holes now. They've got the Galaxy line really going backwards.
This is impressive stuff from the Scottish Claymores, make no mistake. Second down and 1, 9 yards on the carry from Thomas. This is a team that's averaged 50 yards on the ground all game in its first 2 games. Stacey gets the carry, picks up first down yardage at the 30.
Ernie Rogers, the right tackle, blocking down left, and Stacey cutting off behind him. Quick opener, they know they can get the jump, get right through that line.
Saran Stacey and Marcus Thomas. That's quite a 1-2 that the Scottish Claymores can hit you with, and you've always got Joe Mickles you can bring in there, and they have Lorenzo Graham at their disposal as well.
As long as it works, they'll keep doing it.
Williamson dropping back, gets a lot of protection, puts one upstairs, looks for his intended receiver was, I think, Darryl Mitchell, but that one not quite on the same page.
And it'd be better to stick with the run, wouldn't it? You can see what the theory is, though. They're running the ball down the throats of the Galaxy, catch them napping, go long. It's a good move. It's a good time to do it. Now this becomes a big play for the Galaxy defense, because if they put it on the ground again, you want to stuff that, and you want to put them in a must-pass situation.
Head scratching going on the Galaxy sideline. This not what they expected. The pitch back is to Marcus Thomas, who turns the corner and picks up another 7 or 8 yards.
And they're getting it up the middle. They're also establishing it outside, and that's a sign of dominance by the offensive line. If you can get your backs outside, which Marcus Thomas does on that play, that's confidence.
So they're running up the middle. They're running it outside. They're sending Marcus Thomas in. They're sending Saran Stacey in. Joe Mickles comes in for the short yardage stuff. This has got to be bad news for the Frankfurt Galaxy. Scotland are controlling this game on the ground. Third down coming up, though, and 3. The pitch back once again to Stacey, and Stacey makes it look easy once again. He got into the secondary. Number 42, Johnny Dixon, the free safety, came in and made the stop.
Watch Stacey pick his hole on this, and watch 40, Marcus Thomas, who's just on the left of your screen. Watch the block he throws there. Cuts him low. Stacey goes inside. Good block by the tight end. Chandler cuts inside of that. First down. The Claymores can keep it on the ground and move it.
7 yards there on the ground. Paul Justin warming up. He will get the second quarter, and we're just 2 minutes away from that second quarter. On the ground once again, Saran Stacey. They tried to mix it up this time. The Frankfurt Galaxy weren't buying it. Nate Dingle came up and stuffed it.
Another one of those counter moves, and this time Dingle read it. Stacey starting off to the left and cutting back to the right, and Dingle reading the blocking and reacting filled the hole.
A pickup of 1 yard there, but already 64 yards for a team that's averaged 50 yards per game in its first 2 outings, and we're not even at the end of the first quarter. Second and long, Williamson dropping back, pressure coming up the middle, just dumps it off. He's got Marcus Thomas, dances outside of one, and he's going to be brought up short of first down yardage. Jim Miller is out of the game. We must presume this is some kind of injury. He went down heavily under Brandon.
Exactly. It looked like he came down on himself and was lying there for a couple of seconds, so they're probably going to check him out. It's perfectly executed screen pass on that last play. Tough for Jim.
It's been a tough season for Jim Miller. Whenever we've seen him, the defense has come out fired up. And you have to feel a lot of sympathy for him. Third down and a long 2 for Lee Williamson, who is looking as good as he's looked all season. It's another first down on the ground to the Scottish Claymores. The big man, Joe Mickles, the short yardage man, comes up trumps again.
And are they confident? They're just going on the straight ahead dive on that. A long 2, almost 3 yards. Joe Mickles lost his shoe, got the first down.
Joe Mickles goes out. Lorenzo Graham, number 33, comes back in. That may do it. There may be just one more play here in the first quarter, but this, an awesome display on the ground in the opening section from the Scottish Claymores. First down. A couple of yards, maybe only for Marcus Thomas there, one of their rare failures on the ground. Dean Lytle came in with the stop.
And Greg Briggs, the strong safety, what he did was when the tight end came in to block, he blocked down. Greg Briggs came up very quickly and forced Marcus Thomas inside.
That will do it for the first quarter. A very, very impressive first quarter for the Scottish Claymores. They lead it 7-0. We'll be back after this.
Hey, 49er fans. Your team just completed a record-breaking season. Player of the Year Steve Young and Jerry Rice paced the league's best offense, while Deion Sanders tightened up the D. Together, they won an unprecedented 5th Super Bowl. So, 49er fans, what do you do for an encore? The official 49ers championship video is available now.
There are those who go flat out just for the fun of it, and those who don't. When you go after it like this, you work up a thirst. Now, how you choose to quench that thirst depends on the answer to this simple question. Are you a man or a mouse? Hey, life is a sport. Drink it up.
The old adage, show me a good loser and I'll show you a loser. You know, I think about that a lot. So if something happens and we lose the football game, what I want to do is to get as much out of that negative experience as I can, and then use it the next time that we have the chance to compete.
NFL Sunday Ticket, up to 13 NFL games each Sunday. To sign up, call DirecTV at 1-800-781-4DTV.
Let there be football.
Pleased to meet you. Gorgeous?
From the moment they met, they knew they were meant for each other.
I find everything about you endlessly fascinating.
Join the club!
Now they're proving that love is still alive.
I need a lubricant. What? For my eyes. They're drying up.
And in the air. It's Pat, the movie.
This is something we'll both enjoy.
It's Pat, this month on DirecTV.
Welcome back to the Waldstadion. 7-0 Scotland. It's been all Scotland in that first quarter as well. They have the ball. They're knocking on the door already. The 44-yard line of the Frankfurt Galaxy they moved it to. Not much for this crowd to shout about so far.
And this is old-time football. They're moving it down on the ground.
What Ernie Stautner would probably call smash mouth football, except it's his mouth that's getting smashed at the moment. 2nd and 9. Williamson stays in at quarterback. Marcus Thomas looks to turn the corner, will pick up 4 yards. Hesham Ismail did a great job. You saw how he's the center and he's out there on the left side leading the play down, still running. And the Claymores in that first quarter have kept the ball for 11 minutes and 44 seconds. Frankfurt had it for 3:16. That is phenomenal. And already the Claymores have made a departure from their game plan. They said they would bring in Matt Blundin at the start of the second quarter, but they're staying with Williamson, and I think that makes sense.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. The handoff up the middle once again to Thomas, who will be close to first down yardage. Dean Lytle made the stop once again. He is getting quite a workout this evening.
And you see Lee Williamson at some point is going to have a good opportunity to open up the passing game, because right now he's handing the ball off and they're eating up yardage, they're eating up time as well. Sooner or later, the opportunity is going to be there for him to hit one of those dangerous receivers, DeGraff and Reed, Mitchell or Barnett, long.
But I tell you, Mike, if you've got a running game like this, who needs receivers? They are dominating the line.
You have to keep the defense honest.
First down, Scotland. The pitch back once again. Marcus Thomas gets blockers, gets running room, gets a first down. This is textbook stuff from the Claymores.
Watch the kick-out block on the defensive end here. You'll see exactly what we mean. On the outside linebacker, sorry, but you saw push right out of the way. They're blocking for each other. That was Lorenzo Graham who did the block. Marcus Thomas gains the yardage, and you've got to like that.
Marcus Thomas fired up there. In fact, he came up just short of first down yardage. Another 9 there for Marcus.
4 guys running, and they're all blocking for each other.
Second down and short, picking his way through and getting close to first down yardage once again. Lorenzo Graham getting his share of playing time now.
Good second effort by Graham, kept the feet moving. He may have just nudged out that first down. And he did. Indication from the referee, first down. They're moving the sticks now.
To the 28-yard line. It takes a lot to silence this Galaxy crowd, but there's not a lot of cheering now. The cheerleaders trying to get them back into it, but they have been silenced by this Claymore running game, and still the pounding keeps on coming. Lorenzo Graham plowing his way through for 4 or 5 yards there. Dean Lytle on his shoulders.
And this is the Scottish Claymores team that we saw in Atlanta in the preseason workouts that was going to come over here and really dominate. Jim Kreiner said you had to give us a couple of weeks to get the new tackles into the game and to redo our offense after Coach Larry Kuharich left.
The report on Jim Miller, the injured Galaxy quarterback. It's a bruised right hand. It's not broken. That's good news for Ernie Stautner. It's about the only bit of good news he's had so far in this game. The pitch back to Stacey. Stacey looking to turn the corner. Doesn't get a lot this time. Was pushed out of bounds. Ran out of running room. May have picked up a yard. Johnny Dixon on the stop.
And watch Tom Cavallo now. He's in the middle right now. Watch him pursue, and watch Joe Mickles, the back, right there. Mickles gets the block that lets him get back to the line of scrimmage. Otherwise, there's a lot of lost yardage there. But Tom Cavallo making a lot of ground to make that tackle.
Jim Kreiner there said he wanted to establish the run. He's done that so far. But a big third down coming up for the Claymores. They want to keep this drive alive. And a big one for the Galaxy, who need to do something to stop this running machine. And it looks like they may have done it, but that will be close. A good second effort coming in there for the Claymores.
And they really are. You see Chandler there, the tight end, and they really are reading Chandler. When he blocks down, they're coming. The defensive backs were coming on that one. Sooner or later, a play-action pass is going to catch them.
It's come up short. It's 4th and 1, and it looks like the Claymores are going to go for it.
And Jim Kreiner, this is a confidence move. We've got it, he says. My line can get me that yard.
Nichols and Stacey in the backfield, all kinds of stuff going on there. Flags came in, just about everybody moved before the ball was snapped. We'll have to see which way the officials saw this one, because half that line on both sides was up in arms before the ball moved.
And Lee Williamson going on the long count there. I think the Claymores think it's against them because the kicking team's already come on the field.
False start on the offense. Number 76, 5-yard penalty with 3 fourth down.
And that's against the new man, Andre Hewitt.
Exactly, just what I was going to say. The new man, he's over, second on the left. Actually, Chandler just moved there. And there you see, actually, the whole left sideline, Chandler and Hewitt both moved. Williamson going on the long count, trying to draw Frankfurt offside.
So it becomes a 38-yard field goal attempt for Arden Krzyzewski. The crowd trying to make it difficult for him. Krzyzewski will swirl that around wide. So Ernie Stautner's defense holds firm with the help of a penalty and a missed field goal. We'll be back.
Now that you've given her away, you'll always cherish the memories. You'll always remember the joy. And you'll never forget the bill.
$220 for Parston?
But hey, isn't that why you got Visa Gold in the first place? With all the purchase power to handle any occasion. Even the most precious. Visa Gold, it's everywhere you want to be.
The day that I stop getting nervous or anxious before a football game is the day that I'm going to hang them up, because in this business, when you start taking things in stride, there's somebody that's going to be out there that maybe gets a little more nervous or a little more anxious or have more anxieties, and they're going to beat you.
NFL Sunday Ticket, up to 13 NFL games each Sunday. To sign up, call DirecTV at 1-800-781-4DTV.
Let there be football.
You're 40 minutes late.
I'm sorry, Mr. Dickey.
Stanley Ipkiss was having one of those days.
I have no money. I have no car. All I got is this.
Until he had a little change of face. Now, the Zero is a hero. Spoken! Jim Carrey is the Mask.
Somebody stop me!
Playing on DirecTV.
So it's still 7-0 Scotland. It could have been 10, but Arden Krzyzewski's field goal swirled around all over the place.
And watch what he does is short leg it. Not enough follow through. You see how he held that leg up as the kick? Just like a golf swing, you've got to follow through.
Paul Justin in at quarterback, well broken up there by Jocelyn Borgella, who came in, and Justin comes into the game as the top-rated quarterback in the World League, but he's up against it here because these Scots are fired up.
And that ball was there, but Jocelyn Borgella, he's not the quickest guy. The Lions have sent him here because he needs to work on that game. He's a tough guy. He comes in, he breaks up passes.
Well, it couldn't be much worse for the Frankfurt Galaxy in terms of being outgunned at the moment, 108-10, but they're only down by 7. And a lot of time there, and he's got a man over the middle. Looks like Clarence Williams, the backup tight end, will pick up around 8 or 9 yards.
And we saw what happens when you give Paul Justin a lot of time to throw. He'll drill the ball in every time. He's got a strong, accurate arm, and it's why he's the #1 passer in the World League.
Matt Blundin of the Scottish Claymores, currently ranked number 3, but Justin is head and shoulders above his rivals at the moment, purely in terms of numbers. But this is the first situation where he's had to come in and really turn it on. And the pitch back, and looking to turn the corner, and doing so. That's more like it from the offense. Craig Thomas turning the corner and turning on the afterburners.
Now this is basically what's called an option play, although you know he's not going to run it, but he comes along the line, and when the defensive end came in there, you saw Brandon come in and tackle, he pitched the ball up. And Justin took a real hammering, and so did so did the running back on that one, Craig Thomas. But Justin, by waiting for the man to hit him and then making the pitch, he got Thomas open.
Craig Thomas played his football in a running college at Michigan State. Justin dropping back the pass and goes down. There's a flag comes down. Alan Young was putting all sorts of heat down on Paul Justin.
And I think Willie Stubbins was putting all sorts of weight on top of Alan Young.
And Alan Young applauding the call. It's gone against the Frankfurt Galaxy. Let's wait for the official verdict. But it looks like a hold, the way Brian Jones is signaling there to his sideline.
It'll be Willie Stubbins on the hold. Justin did a good job of getting rid of the ball.
On the offense, number 73, 10-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
73 is indeed Willie Stubbins, the left tackle from the LA Raiders.
And you'll see Willie Stubbins, he's the big guy right there. He puts his arms on the outside. You can't have your arms on the outside of the player, and then he just drags him down by the shirt. And Young still gets Justin down by using his feet.
So Alan Young is certainly fired up. First down and 20 for the Claymores. That's taken their momentum away a little bit. Justin drops back. It's an obvious passing situation. Another flag goes down. Justin goes upstairs. He's got a man. They've beaten Jocelyn Borgello in one-on-one coverage, but there is a flag. Mario Bailey coming up with the play, but don't celebrate too early.
Crowd's booing. You can tell by Ernie Staudner's face. He knows which way that call's going. Mario Bailey, who is a big play guy, made a big play catch on that one.
Well, this is really going to take the stuffing out of the Claymores if this one comes back. Out of the Galaxy, rather. Big break for the Claymores.
We have holding on the offense, number 73.
It's Willie Stubbins again.
First down.
Stubbins is feeling the heat from Alan Young.
2 in a row for Willie Stubbins, who played tight end in college, and then they moved him, the Raiders moved him to offensive tackle. He's a big guy. Now watch him on the left of your screen. Again, he's got those arms out, and again, he just tackles Alan Young. Good call by the referee. He's got to call it. And you see there, what a job by Mario Bailey. That is perfect pass receiving.
But that's for no avail. It's 1st and 30 for Justin. He's got a man. It's Mario Bailey, but that'll pick up maybe 8 or 9 before George Coghill, the strong safety, came up. But what a sickener that is for the Galaxy. A big play taken back for holding.
Impressive job by Paul Justin on that one. You can see, look at the intensity in his eyes. On that play, he actually faked going to Craig Thomas, and without hardly looking at him, drilled the ball down to Mario Bailey.
Paul Justin from the Indianapolis Colts, yet to throw an interception in this league. Second down and a stack. Pressure coming. Down goes Justin. Mike Brandon. There is a flag. But Brandon and Young have got smoke coming out of their ears at the moment. They're just plowing through.
And Young is driving Willie Stubbins crazy. Young is just getting her. He's moving so fast that Stubbins can't do anything but get his arms out and try to stop him.
We have holding on the offense. Number 73.
It's Willie again. As you say, Willie Stubbins is having a nightmare series here, and Alan Young is doing some superb damage. Another one of the Scottish keys they said they had to establish the pass rush.
Look at how quickly Young comes in on the left. Now, this time he goes right into Stubbins, and he strengthens him. It's not all just quickness, it's strength. He pushes Stubbins backwards, and Stubbins again has to hang on. Meanwhile, Mike Brandon from the other side gets the sack.
3rd down and a mountain to climb for the Frankfurt Galaxy. 8 minutes left, first half. Justin gets a lot of time, looks for Bobby Olive, and it's broken up. An ambitious pass. They had to go for it. Bobby Olive, the intended receiver. James Williams had pretty good coverage on it all the way.
James Williams, and he got help from the free safety, Darrell Lewis, who read the play and came over. Scotland is just dominating the trenches. They're winning in the pits on both sides, offensive line and defensive line, and Ernie Staudner does not like to get beaten in the line.
He knows it. Now, they can only rush 6 passes in a punting situation. You'd think from a momentum point of view, they would be thinking, the Claymores, about sending a few people after the punter here. It's going to be fielded at around the 33 by Saran Stacey, who is looking to turn the corner and doesn't really get anything out of it at all. He's pushed out of bounds by Dean Lytle, who stayed with it. So not much doing on the return there, but the Scottish Claymores defence holds firm big time. Next week, week 4 in the World League, London entertain Barcelona, a rematch of the original World Bowl. The Scottish Claymores host the Amsterdam Admirals, and the Rhine Fire host the Frankfurt Galaxy in the first German derby match of the World League season. Tickets available for all those games. Back here, it's the Scottish Claymores running the show here. Matt Blundin in at quarterback, as we expected, although he's got slightly less playing time than he might have liked. But he too is keeping it on the ground. Marcus Thomas barrels his way for 2 or 3.
And Matt Blundin's thinking, well, Lee Williamson can hand off and gain lots of yardage. I can hand off and gain lots of yardage too. The Claymores coming right back with what's working for them.
And Blundin with 3 interceptions last week. I think more a case of a young quarterback trying to make plays than anything else.
Doug Williams was saying before the game, he's played behind Joe Montana, and he was trying to play like Joe Montana, but he's a big guy with a strong arm. He's got to play his own game.
2nd and 6 out of the I formation. Stacey looking for running room up the middle. The Galaxy stayed at home. Dean Lytle, number 56, in there with some help from Mike Stonebreaker.
And what London, his big thing is he's 6'6", he's 230 pounds, he's got a really strong arm, so he can see guys, and like you saw Justin do on the last series, he can drill the ball in when he has to. That's what's going to make him, he doesn't want to be kind of scrambling around like Joe Montana trying to make things happen that way.
3rd and short for the Claymores. Galaxy show blitz. And they've nailed their man this time. Joe Mickles, the short yardage expert, is stuffed.
And what they did there was they brought everybody up on the line of scrimmage, and Scotland not really enough time to call an audible play, to change the play and react to it. You're going to see when you, from the end zone, you'll see how many people are up on the line of scrimmage. Watch the linebackers all moving up. There's just simply too many of them. They can't block everybody in that situation, and Stacey gets racked up for the loss.
That brings out Arden Krzyzewski for another punting situation. Punts from around his own 30. Gets another good one. Good spiral on that one. Fair catch called for and taken at the 13-yard line by Mario Bailey. But Arden Krzyzewski's punting, which has caused him so many problems, really firing this evening. Jim Miller is back on the sideline and will no doubt be hoping to get back into the ball game later on.
And you see the guessing game between coaches on that last 3rd down play. The Claymores are going to keep it on the ground. Well, okay, the Galaxy are going to go into a run-prevent kind of defense. Like I'm saying, if you can keep doing that, eventually you're going to get caught on it.
6 minutes left in the first half. Paul Justin stays in at quarterback for the Frankfurt Galaxy, and it'll be interesting to see how Willie Stubbins copes with the rush from Alan Young this time. Bobby Olive, the intended receiver, who beats one man, beats two, and will pick up around 6 yards. Gutsy play from Bobby Olive.
Watch Willie Stubbins. Watch what he does on this play. At the tackle, he makes the move right there. Young's coming in, and Young's going to do the moves. Willie Stubbins beats him to the move. You can't do that forever because you don't have enough moves to beat the defensive man. But a good play by Willie Stubbins. Just change the pace a little bit.
And there's Bobby Olive, who was drafted in the same draft as Tim Barnett. He went to the Kansas City Chiefs. Draw play up the middle. They're looking for Nate Bolton, and there was nothing doing there for the danger man Troy Ridgely. The defensive tackle stayed put, and Crazy Legs probably wouldn't have been too crazy about that one.
What makes Nate Bolton so dangerous is he runs low and he tries to look around for the hole. Now watch what happens. He's trying to get low and hide behind his blockers right there, and he's looking for a hole. He thought he saw one, but there was someone down low to make the tackle. It was Troy Ridgely.
3rd down and around 2. Justin fires. He's got a man. It's complete. 1st down yardage and the rest for Mario Bailey. A blown tackle there, and the saving tackle came in from Darrell Lewis, but Ernie Stautner will be a bit happier now.
And Bobby Olive and Mario Bailey, the two guys outside, are so dangerous. Justin can get them the ball. Lots of things can happen. Bailey's up on the top of your screen in simple out pattern, and Justin drills it again. He's got that one step. He breaks the first tackle. George Colehill coming in. He gets away from Colehill, and it's Borgello who has to come in and make the stop.
They're looking for Bolton. Alan Young is after Bolton, but Bolton too fast for Young, but Bolton pays the price. George Colehill came in and just stuffed him.
And you saw Bolton, that same thing again. He went low and stopped, and he slid, but it didn't matter. He got his balance back, and he saw the opening and went through. He's got that real quick acceleration. Crazy Legs was a wide receiver in college. He also played blocking back in college for McAfee, who runs for the Saints. He can do it all.
Well, this Galaxy offense needs something to ignite them. This is the fella to do it. Nate Bolton, the lone setback on 2nd down and 3, and he gets the call and picks up 1st down yardage.
And now that offensive line of the Frankfurt Galaxy starting to establish themselves. Watch the way they surge on this. Watch Clarence Williams, the tight end. Everybody's pushing forward. Bolton's right through between guard and tackle. Nice blocking, nice run.
the ball up to midfield.
Mark Dixon the guard, Todd Pete the tackle.
The first quarter was all Scotland, but the Galaxy still down by 7, coming back into it. Justin hands off and looking for running room is Crazy Legs, who's got some running room. And just look at those moves and listen to this crowd.
Mark Dixon got away with one on that because he pulled the defender down by the jersey. Maybe we'll see it on the replay. Nate Bolton, all he needs is a step. Now, right there. You saw he pushed the defender away, and that's all the Crazy Legs needed. Die verrückten Beine in German, the Crazy Legs.
That's as good a 4-yard run as you'll see in the World League this year from Nate Bolton. Second down and around 6. Justin dropping back, deep drop, gets some time, doesn't find a man. He's looking for Clarence Williams over the middle, but there was coverage on that.
Looks like Paul Justin may have been looking for a different pattern there, a bit deeper, maybe 5 yards deeper than it was. We were talking to Nate Bolton yesterday. Part of the way he learned that speed was getting to the dinner table because he's one of 20 children. He's got 12 sisters and 7 brothers. He's got 68 nieces and nephews. Just about the time he learned his brothers and sisters' names, he had to start in on the nieces and nephews.
Big third down coming up here. Movement on the line for the Scottish Claymores. A flag comes in. The play goes ahead. If it stands, it will be a first down. But certainly movement there. Bobby Olive made the catch. James Williams on the coverage. But let's see what happens here. Certainly a Claymore defensive end move, but was he drawn?
That's what it looked like. And real good concentration by Justin and Olive to complete the play.
We have offsides on the defense. Number 95, the penalty is declined.
That's gone against Mike Brandon, who was trying to come in from left end, got the jump, went too early.
And because Justin and Olive concentrated and kept the play alive, they got 10 yards for the first down on the pass rather than taking the 5 for the penalty.
So the Galaxy down by 7, coming up to the 2-minute warning. This first half has rattled by. The handoff up the middle is to Thomas, but Thomas is tripped up by number 94, Alan Young, who seems to be everywhere at the moment, and that will be the 2-minute warning with the Scottish Claymores ahead of the Galaxy by 7, but it's the Galaxy who are looking to level it up before half-time. We'll be back after this.
Where the girls are naked all the time.
Will you take your clothes off for $103.62? Oh!
What started out
Show me yours and I'll show you mine.
as a little day trip
Who is she? She's Brad's new math tutor.
turned into the adventure
What are you doing?
I'm staying for a while.
of a lifetime.
This is a woman.
Melanie Griffith, Ed Harris,
Which brings us to sex.
Milk Money.
Playing this month on DirecTV.
Welcome back. These were some of the pre-game scenes, the pre-game party. Very much a fun affair, as it always is. Food, face painting, and all the usual sort of pre-game festivities that you get at the World League. But these fans didn't have too much to shout about in that first quarter, but they're coming back into it now.
I see that grill there. That's why you were insisting on going and shooting all those shots yourself, wasn't it?
A bratwurst not quite to my taste, Mike. But look at these fans.
Well, the Galaxy are starting to move again, and the fans have come alive again. They were mighty quiet for most of that second quarter.
It's second down and 10 from the 40. Justin takes another deep drop, gets a lot of time. A flag goes in once again and broken up. Superb individual play. Mario Bailey was there, but so too was Jocelyn Borgella, and a flag came down, but Joe Borgella came up with a big one.
That's the kind of play he makes. You'll see from the back now, Borgella's going to be in the defensive backfield. He's following Olive. So we've got a penalty. And it's being called off. Here's the replay. And you see Borgello making up the ground. Ooh, he's on Mario Bailey's back. Close one there.
Certainly some contact there. Third down. Pressure coming. Justin steps up. Can't quite find Nate Bolton. He did the first part absolutely right, Justin, but that pass just a little bit ahead of Bolton.
And look at those Claymores players. Lee Williamson's, he's not playing quarterback this quarter, but he's still in the game. That play was there the last time when he went deep. Bolton was standing all by himself. So they tried it again that time. In the pits, they're starting to be a little ill-tempered.
Ryan Jones and George Coghill getting on down there.
Coghill's just saying, come on back, forget about it. BJ doesn't want to forget about it.
I tell you, Brian Jones is someone you don't want to go one-on-one with under any circumstances.
Built like a brick pagoda.
They had him dressed up in a kilt for a pre-game thing, and he looked mean in a kilt. He looked mean in anything, that guy. So the Scottish Claymores defense holds firm with 1:48 left in the first half. The play clock has been reset. That's why there was a slight delay. Darren Alcorn will just try and dump it into the corner to give the Claymores as far to go as possible. And he's just booted it straight into the end zone. So the Claymores will take over with 1:40 left in the first half at their own 20. And there's Doug Williams, the offensive coordinator. He called himself a rookie offensive coordinator, which I suppose he is in many ways. He's sent in a very different game plan this time. 28 rushes, 4 passes so far.
They're keeping it on the ground. It's going to be a fullback dive to the right. Now, that was a very good punt by Darren Alcorn. You saw the official standing on the goal line, so he knew just where the ball crossed, went out of bounds on the 3. Claymores take over, 1st and 10 on their own 3.
With 1:39 left, first half. Claymores ahead by 7. This is a tough area to run from, but they're going to run anyway. They give it to Marcus Thomas, who just does it all on his own. Got a couple of blockers, turned on the afterburners, and it took number 56, Dean Lytle, to bring him down, but a huge gain for Thomas.
Now you see the play. It was called to go to the right, off tackle, right behind the guard and tackle split. And you see Thomas just reads the hole. He sees that they're going inside. He goes outside, and he makes a cut.
A gain of 20.
Out of that hole.
A gain of 20 on the play. One single rush. And look at that, 127. And more to come. Not too many there for Marcus Thomas. He was tripped up by number 95, who came in and made a big play there. That was Gary Reed, the defensive tackle.
Thomas had the hole again, but he slipped on the cut, or else he would have been through for another gainer.
So a minute left. Timeout on the field.
If we get into a long yard situation,
As Matt Blundin talking to Doug Williams. I think Jim Kreiner's in the conversation as well. So the play's been sent in. A minute left, Mike. You're ahead by 7, but the ball's deep in your own territory. Do you try and put a few more points on the board?
I think you always try to put the points on the board if you can. I think what he said was 570 sprint out. I'm not sure. I didn't really hear it clearly. But we'll see if it is one that's going to move out of the pocket.
Tough to hear anything over the disco in this stadium at the moment. Still rocking and rolling at the Waldstadion, but it's the Claymores that are doing the walk at the moment. 127 yards on the ground.
The one back set, that was sprint.
Second down and around 7 for the Claymores. Blundin checks off to his left. Drops back, gets time. Swing pass out to Marcus Thomas, who will be short of first down yardage. And they're in the hurry-up offense with less than 50 seconds remaining in the first half.
And they know that they're going to pass here. All Blundin's doing is telling his receivers what pattern he wants. This saves the time of having to go into the huddle.
Third down. And they've got a first down without too much difficulty. Alan de Graffenry. There we see Mike Kenny, who's the Scottish national coach, the former 549er head coach and offensive assistant here.
And the important thing about that was that de Graffenry went out of bounds and stopped the clock. Now they're lining up. There's only 20 on the play clock again. And watch what happens when that play clock goes down. You might get offsides calls because as it hits 1, the defenders know that they should be able to rush.
32 seconds left. The Claymores have got to look to put this one up in the air if they want to try and get into field goal range. And Blundin does just that. Looks for de Graffenried. There was some contact there, but I think the officials are ruling that whatever, that was not a catchable ball. So the incomplete pass will stop the clock.
Incidental contact as de Graffenried wasn't past the defender, then tried to get past him. They're already playing the ball.
So Doug Williams almost certainly looked to send in another passing play with 26 seconds left.
2 long gainers and you're in field goal range is basically what they're thinking right now. Three plays, they might be able to get plus a field goal if they're lucky.
Another deep drop from Blundin. He's got his man. That's number 86, Darryl Mitchell, who gets out of bounds and stops the clock. 18 seconds here in the first half, but in Barcelona in the fourth quarter, it's Barcelona ahead of Rhine, 25-23.
And they couldn't have asked for anything better because Mitchell not only got the yardage and the extra yardage, but stepped out of bounds to stop the clock. Now they can get 3 plays out of this 18 seconds if they can use the clock.
Well, they're not in field goal range yet. The 45, they'd be looking to try and tack another 20 onto this at least.
Completion, timeout, field goal.
And there is a timeout. Matt Blundin either saw something he didn't like or wants to go and confer with Doug Williams.
And there were only 3 seconds on the clock. Again, he didn't have time to change the call at the line of scrimmage.
So there's 18 seconds left, first half. The Claymores ahead by 7, dominating the game on the ground. But still the Frankfurt Galaxy very much alive. And the Claymores would like to pad that lead before halftime if they could.
Now let's see if we can see what Matt Blundin saw to call the timeout. We'll look at the defensive set. Oh, this is the play before. This is the completion. Gets the ball right out. He missed assignment city. And Mitchell, he makes the cuts inside, but he knows he wants to stay out of bounds.
So just about ready to get back on with the action. The play clock has been set and is starting to tick. It's down to 20 and still moving. 18 seconds left, first half. The Galaxy looking to hold the Claymores here. 3 wideouts, single back. Blundin gets some pressure from the outside, but looks for his man and overthrows the intended receiver, who was Tim Barnett.
Nice job by Matt Blundin with the pump fake end, then getting the pass off. Wasn't the best of passes, but he did a good job of avoiding the pressure. Now 12 seconds, again, they're still in a 2-play situation. Completion, timeout, field goal.
Well, of course, there is a rule in the World League that a field goal of 50 yards or more would count as 4 points, which is something to bear in mind. The only person who nailed a 50-yarder was Don Silvestri of the London Monarchs in practice in scrimmage. Completion there and going out of bounds was Alan de Graffenried. 3 seconds left. In fact, I thought he got out of bounds. They've certainly stopped the clock at 2, which means Arden Krzyzewski will get a chance, but this is going to be a long one.
What happened was his knee went down before he got out of bounds, so they kept the clock moving, but Scotland called the timeout. So with 2 seconds left, Krzyzewski gets another chance.
And this will be a long one for Arden Krzyzewski. Was missed from 38. This one's going to be close to 44, 45 for the man from Florida.
He's got the leg to do it. We saw the one he missed in the first week up in Scotland. He hooked a little bit. He followed through a little bit too much, but also he didn't know the wind at Murrayfield because they'd never let him on the field to kick.
And that's a tough place to kick without having practiced.
He had dinner with Gavin Hastings afterwards, and Gavin said, well, if you'd ever been out there to kick, you'd know that it pulls the ball a little bit to the left. And he said, well, they don't let us out there except for games.
Lee Williamson can look back at the first half with some satisfaction. Arden Krzyzewski will certainly look back at the first half with satisfaction if he can nail this one. It will be a 42-yarder. Blundin, the quarterback, will be holding. The last play of the first half.
And Frankfurt are taking a timeout, presumably to put pressure on Krzyzewski. This is like foul shots in a basketball game where the coach wants him to think about it for another minute.
Mike Stonebreaker, one of the defensive captains, goes back and talks to his head coach, Ernie Stortner.
Arden Krzyzewski, good kicker at Florida, but again, we said the punting and the kicking is something that he hasn't done in a long time, and it takes a while both to get your leg strong and then to keep it fresh, because you're practicing so much sometimes that your leg just gets tired. They're two different motions, and you have to use different muscles to punt and to place kick.
Well, Krzyzewski is 1 for 4 on field goals for the year in the World League, and this is going to be a tough one for him. 46 yards. And they're making him sweat and think about it and worry.
I think a guy like Arden, you know, he's tough mentally. This is only going to make him better.
Oh, yeah, definitely. The crowd trying to do their bit to put Krzyzewski off. The last play of the first half. The Claymores looking to extend their lead, and it's batted in the air. And Blundin, smart heads-up thinking from Blundin, throws it downfield. It's a pity 1 or 2 receivers didn't think about that as well.
I think that the snap was a little bit high, and that was the problem because Krzyzewski had to kick it low.
So Blundin saved a disaster, but the disaster really, I suppose, had occurred earlier.
Yeah, here's where it is. It's an inside, and Blundin has trouble. The ball isn't really straight when Krzyzewski hits it. He does a good job of getting it away without any problem. You'll see it's an inside snap, and he has to field it. He actually gets it down okay. It's just a low kick. And a great job coming across by Jack Kellogg. Jack Kellogg really came from that side, sent himself across, and you don't want to come at the kicker.
So it's 7-0 in favour of the Scottish Claymores at half-time.
There's a place near you where the mountain climbers never touch the ground, where the bodies are made of iron and the bikes of titanium alloy. It's Performance Bicycle Shop with over 6,000 square feet of high-tech cycling gear. But if you go, bring a stump-jumping spirit and your Visa card. Because at Performance, they take cycling to the extreme, but they don't take American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
Catches a football, and then he has to get both feet down in bounds. It's an art peculiar to the National Football League. And
who was the best at that? Raymond Berry?
Oh, there's no question. You know, Raymond was such a gifted receiver that he spent endless hours practicing this routine of getting he called it the toe dance.
NFL Sunday Ticket, up to 13 NFL games each Sunday. To sign up, call DirecTV at 1-800-781-4DTV.
Let there be football.
While NFL action is still months away, the NFL has launched a new season on the internet. NFL Sidelines is an online connection to your favorite teams and players. Connect on the net with NFL fans around the world and chat live with the biggest names in football.
This movie is rated R.
Plus special coverage of the 1995 World League season. The NFL moves into cyberspace with NFL Sidelines. Tackle the internet.
Mickey, do you take Mallory to be your lawful wedded wife?
When two people feel this strongly about each other,
I love you, Mickey.
You'd be crazy to stand in their way. Immobilize me and I'm on my way. Woody Harrelson, Juliette Lewis, Robert Downey Jr., and Tommy Lee Jones.
The whole world's coming to an end, Mal.
Natural Born Killers, an Oliver Stone film.
On DirecTV.
Well, we're just about ready for the start of the second half. Ernie Stortner is certainly ready. We'll take a look at the numbers from the first half in just a couple of moments. And I'm sure they're going to make very interesting viewing. Krzyzewski will get us underway. And quite a story boiling up in Barcelona we can tell you about later on as well. Krzyzewski gets off a kick that is fielded at around the 6-yard line. And good running room, and up to the 34 goes Mario Bailey, who's certainly been an impact player here. The halftime numbers The Claymores said they wanted to run the ball. I think they did that pretty effectively. Just 100 yards in the first 2 games, but I think they comfortably outdid that just in the first half.
And really, that was the difference in the game, because otherwise the stats were pretty much even. And when you're running the ball a lot, time of possession obviously is going to be on your side. Other team's defense is going to get tired.
Paul Justin looks to swing it out to Mario Bailey, who tries to beat the coverage man, but will be a pickup of around 6 yards on the play. James Williams made the stop, but obviously the Claymores taking the ball for nearly 20 minutes. If the other team hasn't got the ball, they can't score.
That's right, and as we said, the defense has to react. It's tougher to play defense than offense, especially when the offense feels they're on a roll. The Mario Bailey against Jocelyn Borgella show continues. Sooner or later, Bailey's going to break one.
Second down and around 6. And that's batted in the air by Mike Brandon, who got the penetration there, number 95. Justin looking frustrated.
You don't get Justin having passes batted down too often at 6'4". He's a pretty tall quarterback, and he's usually got a pretty good overhead motion.
So Justin with a 3rd down and long coming up. There's a final score from Barcelona. It was a real shootout, this one. The Dragons have down the Rhine Fire 32-30. Cowboy Jack back in the saddle. Here it's 3rd and long. Justin, short drop. Alan Young comes, but he's got his man. And a completion there to Sean Collins, who's playing hurt. Corris Irving, the former London Monarch, on the stop.
And one of the things they haven't really done is gotten the ball to the inside receivers. Now Collins, who lines up as the H-back in the slot on the left, is going to come open there. And Justin waits, does a good job of getting the ball just as he turns. Irvin with the saving tackle, but Cohill was there if it was needed.
We talk about Sean Collins as the H-back. I mean, after this play, Mike, I think we need to elaborate on that a little bit. It's a very important role that Collins plays in this offense. Not much doing there on the running game for Nate Bolton, who is still on his feet. And as entertaining a 2-yard loss as you'll see anywhere.
Nate Bolton did a tremendous job to keep going, and they know it. Mario Bailey knows
blocking
it. That's right. Said Nate's just a lot of fun to watch.
I think Doug Williams enjoyed it. Everyone else did, though. So an H-back, Sean Collins.
Sean Collins, the H-back, lining up in that slot position off the line of scrimmage. He can come in motion off that. He can go in the patterns, sort of like the tight end, but not expected to do all the blocking that the tight end is doing. You see him there. The slot is between the split end and the tackle. There he is, right off the tackle's butt in the slot.
2nd and 12. They give it to Nate Bolton. No, they don't. A fake, and it's an excellent fake. What a good play from Nate Bolton. Bobby Olive came up with the catch, but Nate Bolton fooled everybody.
And that was that running low that made that. We talked about Nate Bolton carrying the ball low, and you'll see it fools Ridgely. What the good fake there. Bolton goes down low and it freezes all the linemen. See, Ridgely's still looking back. He doesn't believe the quarterback's got the ball. And a nice catch by Bobby Olive, because that was actually coming in behind the defender.
Bobby Olive is still down, by the way, as we take another look at it.
Justin hiding the ball on his hip, a great job. And you see how Bolton follows the fake through. He's holding his hands as if he has the ball.
Well, I tell you, he fooled me.
Fooled the cameraman, fooled most of the defensive line.
James Williams was the man that stopped Bobby Olive, but a big 1st down play there for the Frankfurt Galaxy, and Olive walking slowly back to the sideline. They need him to be fit. Sean Collins, as I say, playing hurt. Tony Jones is banged up. That's why we haven't seen too much of him.
Claymore's D needs a big series now, because you see only a 7-0 lead, how quickly the momentum can change.
And the crowd very much into it. And this time the give is to Nate Bolton, who's too fast for the front 7 and picks up around 15 yards. This guy has got some tremendous breakaway speed.
Good point, Nick, because Alan Young and Tim Brown are both going to come in from the right side of your screen, the defensive end and the linebacker. And Bolton gets the ball, and they both look like they've got shots at him, and Bolton just goes. He says, no, you're not going to catch me. Exactly. He outruns him. Nice flying tackle by George Coghill again.
George Coghill, the man that came in. This crowd, they always enjoy themselves here, whatever the result.
They get a nice bit of confetti to eat, and the Galaxy are doing good.
When the Galaxy are driving, they are quite a force, this crowd, and they're right behind their team now. 1st down, Justin gets some pressure from Gerald Jeffcoat, who gets it off, and it's complete to about the 3-yard line to Sean Collins. And if Scotland thought they had this game won, they'd better think again.
And Justin now doing a good job of switching from the outside receivers to the inside receivers. You'll see from the end zone, he takes his time. He's waiting for someone to come open. And now Collins, he leads him. Nice lead. Listen to the crowd going crazy.
An impressive first drive of the second half. I think some of these fans thought that had gone in. But the decibel level will go through the roof here if the Galaxy do manage to get in, and they do. Touchdown, Frankfurt. It's Ingo Seibert, the German. And not only are they celebrating because he's a German, but Ernie Stortner has kept faith with a fella who fumbled the game away at a crucial point last week. He's given the ball straight back to him and said, there you go do it again. And he's repaid that faith. So Darren Alcorn with a chance to level it up. And we're all square. 11:43 to go in the third quarter. It's the Frankfurt Galaxy 7, the Scottish Claymores 7. We'll be back.
Michael Jordan. To find what you desire requires a great effort. You look thirsty. Gatorade?
Thanks. I've come.
I know why you have come. You wish to know the meaning of life.
And?
Life is a sport. Drink it up.
That's what I figured.
I think everybody now acknowledges the fact that Jerry Rice does so many things. He catches the ball, he can get deep, he catches the ball short, he can break tackles, he can run away from tacklers, he can get the ball into the end zone. He makes the big play in the big game.
NFL Sunday Ticket, up to 13 NFL games each Sunday. To sign up, call DirecTV at 1-800-781-4DTV.
Let there be football.
People don't do the gauntlet anymore. We are gonna risk death a number of times on this trip. You're gonna scream your guts out. You'll love it. Pump it hard!
From the director of The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, Meryl Streep, Kevin Bacon. The River Wild.
Playing this month on DirecTV.
Welcome back. The Waldstadion, a happy place now. The Frankfurt Galaxy, having really been pushed around in that first half, have come straight back and scored a touchdown of their own. And as we're going to see in just a couple of minutes, very much an all-German affair. Darren Alcorn gets ready to get the game underway. Saran Stacey is the deep man, waiting for the ball at around his own, a 3-yard line. And the Claymores need to regroup here. The kick is up, it's high, end over end, and fielded at the 10-yard line by Joe Mickles, the big blocking back who doesn't normally have great speed, but breaks about 4 tackles and gets the ball over halfway. You don't expect that from Big Joe. We'll come back and take a look at that later, but first the touchdown from Ingo Seibert.
Watch the size of the hole. They double team the tackle. Werner Hippler, the German tight end, leads Seibert through the hole. No problem at all for Ingo. But now if you want to see why he fumbles, watch this. See, as he switches the ball from 2 hands to 1, he slides it down the front of his chest. The ball's up for grabs there.
There's the story on Ingo Seibert. He fumbled last week, but Ernie Stortner said this league is to play the Germans. Marcus Thomas gets a lot of running room down the left side and will pick up close to first down yardage. He may just have been stopped by Chris Hall, the cornerback that came up. And I think what we've overlooked is that superb return of 44 yards from Big Joe Mickles.
And we talk about him blocking and we talk about him receiving, but he really showed open field ability there. And the problem, of course, on the kickoff, what it is Joe can get a running start. Normally he starts off, and he's such a big guy, it takes him a couple of steps to get going.
Second and a few inches for Lee Williamson, who's back at the controls. Expect to see him for the rest of the game unless things start going wrong. Saran Stacey fumbles the ball. He's hit and it's a fumble. And from the cheers, you know that Chris Hall of the Frankfurt Galaxy has recovered, and all the momentum in this second half is with the Galaxy now.
And Sirhan Stacey had a lot of running room. Watch the hole that they open up there. They seal the corner. Stacey cuts inside. He gets a good block. He's cutting back again, just gets tackled on the ball and loses it.
Johnny Dixon made the hit there.
You see Stacey now, nice block there by Thomas. Stacey turns the corner, and there's Dixon right on the ball with his head.
Chris Hall comes up with it and undoes that good work. Two good running plays for the Galaxy, but it's for nothing. Paul Justin's got his hands on the ball once again, and Nate Bolton is going to be the ball carrier. He can still be dangerous. Mike Brandon, I think, made a stop on that one. Bolton didn't pick up too much there.
This is where the Scotland defense has to come up big if they want to get the momentum back in this game. Their offensive line is still doing the job.
And we see Willie Stubbins there. They've obviously made some adjustments on that offensive line because Alan Young is not quite the factor that he was earlier. Young lining up to the right of that line. Second down and long, good protection from Justin, goes straight down the middle. Brian Jones nails Sean Collins, but Collins came up with the catch.
Scotland made a late shift there, just getting the fifth defensive back, Corus Irvin, in, and it was a good thing they did too because they were giving him the short pattern but nothing long.
And Paul Justin there is trying to listen to the plays being sent in by offensive coordinator Joe Clark. There's so much noise in the stadium, I think it's having a little trouble getting through.
And Joe Clark's actually relaying it down through the offensive line coach Mark McHale.
This a big play. And Justin goes wide to the right, and up comes Mario Bailey. And that was an outstanding catch. Jocelyn Borgella made the tackle, but what a catch from Bailey.
Mario Bailey is a go-to guy, possession receiver, when you want to get underneath the coverage. Justin's going with him all the way. He fades back, just stops the short drop. And Bailey's coming into the ball. It's right there. First down.
And this crowd is chanting, Ingo, Ingo. Nate Bolton breaks some tackles, gets some open space. If Nate Bolton gets into open field, you're in trouble. George Coghill made the stop after Bolton picked up 11.
And the ball pops out of Nate Bolton's hands, but it doesn't bother him at all. He juggles it. It's like he takes it like almost like it's a pass. Watch what happens here now. Handoff. Whoops. Got it anyway. Hey, there's a hole. And look at it. See how he anticipates that hit? Starts the spin move. Great open field running by Nate Bolton.
That's a wide receiver's reaction. And there's his numbers. Hasn't played running back for 6 years. You would not believe that tonight. Justin drops, pump fakes, looks for Bobby Olive. Got him. First down. Galaxy. Everything going Frankfurt's way in this half.
Bobby Olive, another big play guy, and that was a big-time catch, and don't think he's not letting the Claymores know it. He's not real open. Justin's looking for receivers now. It goes right to Olive. Pump fake. Olive's going deep. And right over the defender. Into Olive's hands. He's got to catch it a full stretch, and he does. Watch the body control there. Olive getting the whole body out at stretch. Ball in his hands.
First down. Nate Bolton manages to get past one guy, but is nailed eventually. Number 28, Jocelyn Borgella of all people, the quarterback, came up and made that stop. But Nate Bolton frightens the life out of these Claymores.
It's a shame when the crazy legs don't get you anything because he was nailed behind, but he still broke 3 tackles, but all it did was result in an extra 3 yards loss.
Well, what do you do if you're the Scottish Claymores? You run the show for the first half, And for the first 8 minutes of the second half, you can do nothing.
You want another big play out of your defense. You want to get Frankfurt in the hole. Make them throw the ball up where you can get it.
Nate Bolton lost 8, but they swing to him once again, and Bolton with some running room. Pretty good job done there by Mark Sander, the former Miami Dolphin. It's a case of containing this fella. He is so dangerous, you don't want to let him get away.
For the last 2 years, Nate Bolton's been playing for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers up in the Canadian Football League with the wider field. Can you imagine what he can do on that wide field in Canada?
Oh, he's dynamite. The guy is dynamite.
And we were talking yesterday as well. He played a bit of quarterback in high school. He can throw the ball, too. He'd like to get a chance to do that.
Well, I don't know if we're going to see Nate Bolton actually throwing the ball. You never know. Justin drops again, a lot of time, and he goes down the middle. He's got his man again. They're picking them apart, and this time it's Clarence Williams, the tight end. George Coghill came up and made the stop.
And this is good quarterbacking by Justin because they've got they're doubling his outside receivers, so he's got to look for secondary receivers, not the guys he's intending to go to. See how he looked for 2 different people, then came in on Williams, who's open, and he delivers the ball. Good speed, good power on the pass.
And the ball spotted inside Scottish territory at around the 20-yard line. First down, Galaxy. 7-all, but all the momentum with the Germans at the moment. Justin fires, he's got a man wide open in the middle. It's first down yardage and more, and this crowd is going crazy. The stop from Mark Sander, but Justin has turned this thing around, and Mario Bailey again coming up with a big play.
And one thing they've got to be careful of, the defensive line for Claymores is still making big problems for Frankfurt, and the blockers are starting to get sloppy.
The numbers in the second half for Paul Justin tell their own story. And what's important there is he's getting time to throw this time. They've made some adjustments on that offensive line. Movement on the Claymores defensive front. Flags come in, and we'll have to see whether Frankfurt drew them or whether the Claymores jumped.
And I think what the Claymores saw on that one was the clock going down. The play clock was down to 1 second. They started coming.
We'll wait for the official verdict. That, of course, the play clock gives the defensive players such an advantage. If they see it go down to 1, they can just take off. Here's the call.
Got a neutral zone infraction on the defense. Number 95.
Mike Brandon, who was assessed in the first half, picks up another one.
Neutral zone is the area between the two teams. You've got to give them a little bit of room off the ball. You can't be lined up right on their heads, and that's what Mike Brandon was doing.
Well, Paul Justin has really ignited this offense in this second half. 9 out of 9 he's hit. He keeps it on the ground this time, and Ingo Seibert is looking for more, and he's got it. What a great second effort, and they love it here in Frankfurt. What a great story this is. The guy that fumbled the game away against Amsterdam last week comes back and scores 2 touchdowns in less than 10 minutes.
And Ernie Stadner, who was born in Bavaria, keeps telling us he wants to give something back to Germany, and he's just made a big step toward doing that now.
Darren Alcorn will attempt the extra point in a minute, but let's take another look at this one.
Now Ingo keeps the ball in his right hand, even though he's taking the hit from the right side, but that's probably safer than switching it at that point. He takes the bump and then keeps going. Good running by Ingo Seibert.
James Williams, the cornerback, tried to stop him, but Ingo had too much momentum. He's only 5'10" and around 200 pounds, but he knows how to use that weight. And this crowd now very much a factor. And good to see Ingo Seibert in there as well as a...
First down, 5-yard penalty.
And they've taken it back. The officials have taken that back. That has caught everyone by surprise. It's certainly caught Alan Young and Gerald Jeffcoat by surprise. They've got to come back on. And some confusion here in the Waldstadion, but it looks like that's been taken off.
What they were using was a 2 tight end offense, and they moved Willie Stubbins out to tight end. If he does that, because he's wearing a number in the 70s, between 50 and 79, he has to tell the official he's the tight end. Normally eligible receivers wear 80 and up. where they were below 50. So he didn't do that, and I'll bet you Ernie Stoutner doesn't like that call at all.
Well, this fellow won't win too many popularity contests, I tell you. The most unpopular man in Frankfurt, Phil Luckett, the referee. I don't think Jim Kreiner minds the call too much.
No, and there's a good reason for it, because obviously if you try to sneak the player in as an eligible receiver and nobody covers him on the play and you complete the pass, you've got a legitimate gripe.
But this one is not over for the Scottish Claymores. As Phil Luckett said, first down for Frankfurt, a 5-yard penalty at the end of all that. The ball now moved back to the 7-yard line. I wonder if they're going to give it to Ingo again.
Well, it hasn't done anything to shut the crowd up, I'll tell you that.
So Justin, who's had a hot arm in this second half, completing 9 for 9. Looking to go for number 10, gets some pressure and goes down and fumbles. Alan Young had a chance to recover it. That's a live ball. Brian Jones thinks the Claymores have got it. And they have got it. What an extraordinary second half we are seeing. All the momentum with Frankfurt, and now it's all been taken away again.
Troy Ridgely came up with that, but it was the pressure on Justin that made that. They come full steam. Linebacker from the opposite side, Mark Sandrew, caused the fumble. Now Young tried to pick it up instead of just falling on it. He tried to get it in his hands, but Ridgely came in and made the recovery. Talk about a momentum change. The Claymores really need to establish themselves now.
2 huge plays have turned this game around. Instead of being 14-7 down, it's still 7-all. And the Claymores can go back to their tried and tested running game. Straight away, Marcus Thomas gets the carry. And they've got to try and establish normal service once again, the Claymores. It's all been taken away from them in this third quarter.
But what they've got to do now, if you're the Frankfurt Galaxy, is shove it back down their throats. Mike Stonebreaker made that tackle with Donald Reynolds. They've got to start establish themselves winning the battle at the line of scrimmage.
2nd down and 6. Lee Williamson staying in at quarterback for the Claymores. Gives once again to Marcus Thomas, who doesn't get an awful lot, but a good second effort against Nate Dingle, number 58. Also in there was number 40.
Now remember what Bobby Hammond said. The linebackers are coming up fast now. That's why they're making tackles. This is the time when play action passing will work, because the play action will freeze the linebackers. They'll come in thinking it's a run, then you're behind them with receivers.
3rd and a couple. A big play here for the Scottish Claymores, and a lot of men stacked up on the line for the Galaxy. They give it once again to Siran Stacey, who got running room, held on to the ball this time. Also holding on was Johnny Dixon, but Stacey hanging on to the ball and getting a big first down for the Claymores.
This is the same play that Stacey gained big yardage but fumbled on last time. Now watch the blocking there. Watch Thomas. They clear that whole corner for him. And then Stacey breaks a tackle, or almost breaks a tackle there. Gets the first down. They're keeping it on the ground, doing it the hard way.
The Claymores at their own 39. They've dodged a huge bullet. Marcus Thomas gets the call once again, tries to duck inside, doesn't get an awful lot. Dean Lytle was in on the tackle. 1 or 2 other fellas in there as well, helping him out.
Dennis Dalkey didn't like the way that he was just picked up at the line of scrimmage by Donald Reynolds.
This a very intense football game. 7-7. Both teams badly need to win. Frankfurt want to host that World Bowl. Scotland just want to open their account. 2nd down, Williamson takes a deep drop, pressure coming. Williamson rolls to his left and gets back to the line of scrimmage, and no more. But a good job there from Williamson, who kept his cool under heavy pressure.
They saw the linebacker coming up and they were going to a straight pass, but again, we're looking at that for that play action. Really think it would have worked against that defense. Ernie Stoutner, not happy at all.
Tom Cavallo, number 53, stood next to him as well. But Ernie certainly made some adjustments on his defensive fronts after those opening series, when the Claymores were just pushing the ball around at will. 3rd down and 8, another big play for the Claymores. Williamson gets time, looks for Stacey. Stacey's got a lot of work to do, does his job. First down and more surrounds Stacey. Nice move by the running back.
Nate Bolton is not the only great open field runner in this game, and you're going to see Sirhan Stacey, who could have gotten nailed short of the first down. Williamson's looking. He sees Stacey there. Now watch Sirhan. Backstep breaks one tackle. Now he sees openings and cuts in. He makes a miss. He makes 2 guys miss, 3 guys. No one even touched him. He was just the moves made them miss on the tackles.
And that's the threat that Sirhan Stacey brings to the ball game. Williamson drops once again, fires, and it's batted away. Chris Hall on the coverage.
That was just a little bit of play action to Barnett, but it worked pretty well. We've got a flag on the play. And there's a little bit of criticism coming in from the players.
Therefore, there's no penalty. Second down.
So no penalty. Let's take another look at that play.
See, just a little bit of play action, but it helps them a lot. It gives him time to throw. And the pass is there, but Hall reads it well from the free safety spot. From the corner. Just laying off him a bit.
So nothing doing for Tim Barnett. We've hardly called Barnett and de Graffenried in this game. They've been the story for Scotland so far, but not in this game. It's all been on the ground. Not much for Sirhan Stacey, maybe a yard, before Greg Briggs came up and nailed him.
And Briggs, the strong side safety, read the run, came up real fast to close off the corner. There was no one there. They're guessing run on that, and Briggs is coming. It's where you want to make them guess wrong.
This has been a tough drive for the Claymores. Their third down coming up here, and this is the longest of the lot. 3rd and around 9. Last few seconds of the 3rd quarter, pressure coming from the outside. Williamson goes upstairs and almost found Darryl Mitchell. That bounced away. Cecil Doggett, the nickelback, the 5th, the extra defensive back, came in and broke that one up.
And I think what you're going to see is Johnny Dixon coming across did just enough to distract him. There's Dixon, 42, the free safety. He reads the pass, and right there he goes for it, and it's enough to get Mitchell's attention away. Doggett's there as well, right in front of Mitchell. He can't make the catch.
So Williamson managed to get his team out of trouble, but couldn't take them into scoring position. And Krzyzewski will kick it away. A fair catch called for at around the 10, but the ball takes a hop and goes through the end zone. That'll be a touchback for the Frankfurt Galaxy at their own 20-yard line. And Krzyzewski looking a little bit disappointed with that one.
Well, it hit short of the goal line, but it kept bouncing in. He did pretty much what he wanted to do, but couldn't control the bounce.
And there's conversations on the field at the moment. There is a flag down, and it's going against the Scottish Claymores. An illegal man downfield will be the call. And now the question that the Galaxy will have to ask is if they want to take it or whether they decline it. Mike Stonebreaker leading the conversation there on the right.
I think they'll take the chance at the punt return again. But then I've been wrong before.
It's a first down. The penalty has been declined. Jim Kreiner looking on. I think probably relieved still to be 7 apiece, because this game could have got away from his team in this 3rd quarter. What a 3rd quarter it's been.
And now what they're looking for is that consistency again that they had in the 2nd quarter where they were running the ball up the field. This time now they've had to go to the air, and they haven't been able to do it against that strong Frankfurt pass defense.
I tell you, when Ingo Seibert ran in for what looked like his 2nd touchdown, it looked like it was going to turn into a disaster for the Claymores. Justin with a little swing pass to Nate Bolton, whose crazy legs gave up on him there and allowed
Jocelyn Borgella
was probably relieved.
That's right, I was going to say, breathed a big sigh of relief, as all he had to do was touch Bolton down there.
The crazy legs crumbled.
That's the spotlight position. Cornerback against the running back in the flat, one-on-one. It's as close as you get to one-on-one in football.
But I'll tell you something, Mike, we have seen in this 2nd half exactly why Paul Justin is the World League's #1 rated quarterback. That will do it for the 3rd quarter. It's 7 apiece here in the Waldstadion. We'll be back for the fourth quarter in just a couple of moments.
There's a place in the Big Apple where New Yorkers rush to be on the cutting edge. It's Jean-Louis David, a touch of Paris right in the middle of Manhattan. So if you're looking for a new you, drop in anytime at any of their locations. You don't need an appointment, just your Visa card. Because when it comes to your hair and Jean-Louis David, American Express just won't cut it. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
Competition that you have in the game, and that's what attracted me to the game. You have to be physical, you have to have great athletic ability, and you have to know what you're doing. There's a mental aspect of the game that's so very important to you. But I think that this, more than anything else, has attracted me to football more so than other sports.
NFL Sunday Ticket, up to 13 NFL games each Sunday. To sign up, call DirecTV at 1-800-781-4DTV.
Let there be football.
Do you know the way?
Singing a little too loudly.
Singing too loudly?
Through the ups.
Want to be a New York Yankee?
Let's do it. And the downs. Through the hits. And the misses.
Are you nuts?
There was always one cheering section they could count on.
2 words of advice for you. Fernando Valenzuela started out a pitcher, wound up a truck.
Each other. Albert Brooks, Brendan Fraser, the Scout. On DirecTV.
Just about ready to get the fourth quarter underway. Frankfurt and Scotland all tied up at 7 apiece, but Paul Justin is looking to get the Frankfurt Galaxy moving here. Got a long way to go, 82 yards or thereabouts, but Justin has looked very sharp this half, and his receivers are making him look sharp. Bobby Olive.
They're coming back to him, and Justin's doing a really good job of getting the ball low to them. There's no chance of a turnover or interception on that kind of a ball. Just short of the first down for Bobby Olive. While we're away, Jim Kreiner talking to his offensive line. He's saying, it's there. And I think his offensive line knows it.
Third down and short. Olive checks out, the heavy mob check in.
Willie Stubbins came in and declared himself eligible. The referee has just announced that.
And everybody's stacking up for the Claymores, and they give it to Ingo Seibert once again, who saw a bit of running room there and perhaps thought there was a bit of glory for him, but he did his job.
There was running room for Seibert if he could have gotten that one step outside, but as it was, he gets the first down and a good gain.
I tell you, Scotland really gambled on that one, and if Seibert had broken one more tackle, that was a 60-yard gain and a touchdown.
Now everybody going inside. They were slanting toward the inside, expecting the play was going to go up the middle, and it went off tackle. Seibert had some space.
So Seibert does his job. He's had a night to remember whatever happens here. First down, Justin. Goes short once again. Couldn't quite complete that time. Jocelyn Borgella celebrating Clarence Williams, the intended receiver, but Williams wasn't looking when the ball was thrown.
And Borgella wasn't going with the wide out. They were letting the safety cover the wide out. Borgella picks up the tight end coming out. They weren't expecting for him to be covered at that point.
But Justin has amassed most of those yards in that third quarter, and he really just dominated the game. Just came in and dominated. 9 out of 9 at one point. A man from the Indianapolis Colts. And if you're with the Indianapolis Colts and you're watching this, you've got to like what you're seeing from your young quarterback.
Justin's looked good. We saw him 2 weeks ago come in and do a really good job. He's got a good arm. He can throw off balance. He doesn't panic in the pocket. He looks for his secondary receivers. He's not afraid to take the time to look for them. He's got a quick release.
Meanwhile, a collection of officials.
We call that a blind sequence.
I think we can all guess why. It will be second down when the officials let us get on. Well, the officials have managed to take the sting right out of this. The crowd's out of it. The cheerleaders are out of it.
It takes a lot to get those cheerleaders out of it.
Wake me up when we start, Mike. Oh, here we go. We're underway again.
Now, dead ball. The 35-second clock becomes a 25-second clock off the dead ball, so we're down to 15 right now.
Paul Justin operating out of the one back set. Pressure coming. Justin gets a lot of protection, finds Bobby Olive. James Williams gambled and Bobby Olive won, and Williams knows he gambled.
And if Bobby Olive hadn't just stepped on that sideline, he was going for some more big yardage. This is Bobby Olive now. There's a lot going on behind him, but this is basically just his out. And Williams, he actually wasn't even there for the interception. He was a step behind Olive all the way.
The Galaxy have moved the ball just about inside Scotland territory. Mike Brandon jumped again, and the flag comes in late. But Brandon has been getting jumpy in this game, and if this goes against him, that'll be the third time he's jumped in the game.
It looked like a second flag went down as well. I could be wrong.
Nate Bolton picked up around 6. But we'll have to wait and see. Stautner certainly thinks the call has gone against the Claymores.
Bernie turns that sweater inside out. It's got black and white stripes on it. You'll know what's going on.
Let's hear the call.
Offside on the defense, number 95. 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
It's Mike Brandon once again.
Brandon's your left defensive end. You saw him move there on the left side of your screen. Just stepped right in.
So they take the penalty. It would have been second and about 4. Instead, it's first and 5.
Now, here's a situation where you can do a lot of things.
Oh, you love this as a quarterback. It gives you so many options. And he goes to Mario Bailey, who comes up with another catch. Much as we've praised Paul Justin, you have to say, as Mark Sander makes the hit, you must say that Ernie Stautner is blessed with some outstanding receivers.
Well, all the way, and if Bob Brasher was playing tight end, they'd have another good one there too, but he's got Olive and Bailey, who are great wideouts. The real key is working Sean Collins in there from the H-back or slot position.
Second down and a couple. The handoff is to Nate Bolton, who spins. Alan Young was one of the tacklers in there. George Coghill also came up from safety, and not much doing there for old Crazy Legs.
Looked like he'll be about a yard short on that. He tried to spin off at the line of scrimmage, but couldn't get it. Collins is the key in so many ways, because if you can get the ball to him, then it means your tight ends, Clarence Williams or Hipler, you can use them to block more. Helps your running game.
They brought in the heavy mob once again, and Ingo Seibert is back in the game once again.
Watch a play here.
Seibert gets the call and turns the corner. Great burst of speed. He just left James Williams for dead, and it was up to George Coghill to push him out of bounds. What speed!
Now, they ran the same play they did last time, but this time Seibert knows he's going to go wide. Instead of reading it and sliding wide, he's headed wide all the way. You see how they seal the corner off there, so that safety, who could have come up to make the stop, can't. Watch Darrell Lewis, the safety, because he's going to try to get outside and can't get outside. There's Hitler doing the job blocking for his countryman. And he gets wide of Williams, and Coghill has to make the stop.
First down, and it's Nate Bolton looking for running room, and he gets it and fumbles, but the ball goes out of bounds. Nate Bolton's momentum meant that the ball just carried on. Mark Sander and Jocelyn Borgella teamed up on that one.
And a good hit on Bolton here by Sander. When the momentum's going your way, sometimes the ball bounces your way too, and that's what happens here. Sander, great pursuit. Borgella does a nice job of holding the blocking up. Sanders' tackle wraps around and knocks the ball loose.
Alan Allen of the London Monarchs had a similar one last week.
Clock's down to 5 seconds now. They've got to put the ball in play quickly.
Which they do. Nate Bolton gets some running room. First down, Frankfurt. How this game has changed. Tim Brown made the stop from the linebacker position.
And right now the Frankfurt offensive line has that same kind of zip in their step that the Scottish offensive line had earlier in the game, and the Scottish defenders are taking their time getting up now.
It's a complete mirror image, although Scotland still have outgained Frankfurt on the ground. Most of Frankfurt's rushing yardage has been in this second half. And I'd like to know how much Ingo Seibert has got of it as well. He's impressed. Justin on a keeper. Picks up around 7. A big guy to bring down, Paul Justin.
And we called it the option when he ran it the first time, and we said he wasn't really thinking about running. But watch now. Watch how he reads his blockers. The end does not come out, so he goes inside the end, and there's some space. And a good job of running, too. Gets the extra 4.
They call it the option, because he has the option either to hang on to it himself or just pitch it out to a running back.
What he does is read the defensive end. If the end comes to him, he pitches. If the end goes to the running back, he keeps the ball.
The Scottish Claymores have taken a timeout. We'll take a timeout. Join us after this short break.
You have to have the talent. You've got to have the size, the speed, the talent to compete. The thing that you really can't measure is the heart. And then the other thing that you have to be made aware of as soon as you can is his ability to learn, to execute the detail of his assignment in a pressure situation.
NFL Sunday Ticket. Up to 13 NFL games each Sunday. To sign up, call DirecTV at 1-800-781-4DTV.
Let there be football.
From DirecTV.
She walked into my house.
It started with a simple twist of fate.
Mama. Where are you off?
That led him to a life he'd never known.
I'll make you some oatmeal.
That taught him love.
This child belongs with me.
Gave him strength.
She's not yours, Michael.
And changed his world forever. Steve Martin. A simple twist of fate. Playing this month on DirecTV.
10.5 minutes left in the ball game. Frankfurt and Scotland all tied up at 7, but Ernie Stautner's Galaxy have dominated this fourth quarter so far, and that catch the drive touchdown. Bobby Olive's got it. You sensed it was coming. And this one's not coming back for any flags. This one's going in the book.
I don't know if Bobby Olive's going to want to catch too many more if Mario Bailey's going to do that to him every time. But Paul Justin delivers the ball again, and Bobby Olive makes the catch again. And this is what Scotland aren't doing. They haven't been able to mix it up with the air game. And what makes this work is the delivery. Zip, it's in there. No chance at all for Williams.
The extra point attempt to come, and that's it. It's 14-7, 10:32 left. The Frankfurt Galaxy break out on top thanks to this man, Bobby Olive. It's 14-7 Galaxy. We'll be back after this.
Pass. And then as the play unfolds, you follow it. If it's a running play, you go to the point of attack, knowing what we have to get done in order to make the play successful. If it's a pass play, as the quarterback goes back, then I immediately transfer my attention to the coverage down the field, because the coverage then dictates what the quarterback does with the football.
NFL Sunday Ticket. Up to 13 NFL games each Sunday. To sign up, call DirecTV at 1-800-781-4DTV.
Let there be football.
And to this reporter, it's obvious that these strike negotiations are going nowhere fast.
Well, I've had just about enough. Let's go.
Excuse me.
Love the shoes.
What were we thinking? After you.
No, after you.
Life is good.
When you've got the great taste of an ice-cold Miller Lite, life is good.
Our work here is done.
Play ball.
Hey, 49er fans. Your team just completed a record-breaking season. Player of the Year Steve Young and Jerry Rice paced the league's best offense, while Deion Sanders tightened up the D. Together, they won an unprecedented 5th Super Bowl. So, 49er fans, what do you do for an encore? The official 49ers championship video is available now.
Word is, you're the best.
Sylvester Stallone.
You think the killing is gonna make everything all right?
Sharon Stone.
Little Danger never killed anybody.
I'm sorry. Should I have knocked?
James Woods. Eric Roberts.
Waste him.
And Rod Steiger.
I give the orders.
In the most explosive movie you'll see this year.
I'm breathless with anticipation.
The Specialist.
Playing on DirecTV.
The crowd here at Frankfurt, 25,182, all of them standing. Paul Justin, a 9-yard pass to Bobby Olive, has put the Galaxy on top for the first time in the game. And this crowd that's never really been away is into this game now. Darren Alcorn will get us underway, and the Claymores need to hit back here. High end-over-end kick, fielded at the 10. A little juggle from Saran Stacey. Stacey looking for running room and not getting a lot. Cecil Doggett, number 22, came in on the tackle.
Now watch the hit that Paul Justin takes here right after he delivers it. Tim Brown coming in from the linebacker position a little late, but Justin's watching it go to Bobby Olive, and he knows he's got him right in the belly. Bobby Olive, who was a walk-on at Ohio State, what that means is he wasn't recruited, he didn't have a scholarship, he went to one of the toughest football colleges in America and walked onto the team.
Single back for the Claymores. They can't run the ball now. Surely they've got to put it up in the air. They begin on the ground. Saran Stacey doesn't get a lot out of that. Dean Lytle was all over him.
They don't necessarily have to pass here if they can reestablish that running game. They're only one touchdown down and there's 10 minutes to play. If they can just march the ball down the field, fine.
A huge drive this for the Galaxy. It ate up a lot of time on the clock. 12 plays, 80 yards.
And the Claymores would like to do the same thing, but they're not going to be able to do it if they can't mix the passing game into the running game.
The running game has been almost, the passing game rather, been almost non-existent for the Claymores. They've dominated on the ground. Williamson looks to go upstairs. He's got a man, but nothing doing there for Darryl Mitchell. A little miscommunication once again between quarterback and receiver. And Bobby Olive getting right into it, shouting at his defensive colleagues.
When they said the crowd helped them get in the game, they weren't kidding. This is real football.
Injured Claymore getting some treatment. Looks like it may be Troy Ridgely. The defensive tackle. 3rd down and 7. Big play this for Lee Williamson. He beats one man and he may have to go all the way here, and nothing doing for the quarterback. He was flushed out of the pocket and Johnny Briggs came up and nailed him. Greg Briggs rather came up and nailed him well short of the 1st down. So Mario Bailey will go back to receive Arden Krzyzewski's punt, and not an impressive drive that from the Claymores. They needed to generate some momentum, and it simply didn't happen for them.
And a tough one for Williamson, because if you're in that 3rd down, if you're going out of the pocket, you've got to try to get to the 1st down.
Krzyzewski, a low kick, takes a hop. Will be down at about the 39-yard line. So with 8:48 left, it's very much in the hands of the Galaxy. Next week, the Galaxy travel to Dusseldorf to take on the Rhine Fire. Elsewhere in week 4 of the World League, London host Barcelona, and the Scottish Claymores will look to break their duck if they don't break it here against the Amsterdam Admirals. It doesn't get any easier for the Claymores.
No, and a lot depends on tomorrow's result. London-Amsterdam, if Bobby Hammond can get those London Monarchs to beat Amsterdam, they go down to 2-1, and all of a sudden we've got a pretty even lead.
And Amsterdam 2-1 today after beating the Rhine Fire. This race for the World Bowl is wide open. Justin with a lot of time looks for Bailey. Double coverage there. George Coghill came up from strong safety, broke that one up.
Justin, it almost looked like he said, well, I'll go ahead and throw it anyway, which is not a good thing to do into that double coverage.
Mario Bailey, who's come up with a couple of big plays, simply couldn't come up with that one. One of Paul Justin's few poor errors of judgment there. He hasn't made many mistakes at all.
And notice how much time he's been getting to throw in the last 15 minutes or so of this game.
2nd down, a lot of time once again. Had a man, and it's picked off, is it, by Jocelyn Borgella?
Ball popped up loose.
Williams has got a piece of it. Was it?
Like Williams got it.
And they're saying that the Claymores have got it. The Claymores going to break. Justin doesn't like it, but that comes up as a Williams interception. Big play from James Williams.
I think it was Coghill who had the first coverage. Justin goes back, he's looking straight. These simple out patterns. Right through his hands. There was no coverage at all. The pass was there, went right through his hands. Good reactions by Williams. Lewis was coming over to make the tackle.
Good reactions from Bobby Olive too. Saw that Williams had the ball and came back and stopped him getting too much further.
But that pass was there. Simply went right through his hands.
Frankfurt's 3rd turnover of the game. How costly will it prove to be? Scotland 1st down. Williamson stays in. gets pressure, buys some time, reverses it to Joe Mickles, reverses the play, and Mickles with a lot of running room picks up first down yardage, runs into his own man.
Now,
that was Hesham Ismail down there.
This is a tight end screen for Dwayne Chandler. It's a complicated play, but Williamson is going to run all the way to the right. Now watch on your right. Now the tight end is blocking. He gets up and he drifts to the left, and the blockers drift to the left to set up a screen for him. And there's one block there, and now Chandler, who was a running back in college, has some room. He follows Ishmael, and Ishmael gives him a good block, and then he runs up Ishmael's back and out of bounds.
Big play, takes the ball to the 30-yard line, 8:22 left. The pitch back to Saran Stacey, who is met at the line of scrimmage and nailed. Mike Stonebreaker in there along with Dean Lytle, a Notre Dame sandwich.
Good read by Stonebreaker, who came real fast to cut off Stacey, who saw a hole there and was headed for it.
Absolutely essential that the Scottish Claymores convert this turnover into points, 6 of them. And they've got to kick the extra point as well.
They still haven't used those wideouts. They haven't had a straightforward pass play to their wideouts, who are the best in the league.
Williamson with time goes down the middle, and it's a drop ball, a simple dropped pass there. Saran Stacey was open. Mike Stonebreaker on the coverage.
And Stonebreaker, the middle linebacker, is the guy who's got to watch Stacey coming out of the backfield. Stacey does the curl pattern and drops the ball. You see Stonebreaker's reaction, but you've got to hold on to those passes.
So Stonebreaker breaks that one up, but it would have been a completion had the receiver been able to hang on to that one. Saran Stacey, 3rd down, big play for the Claymores. Williamson feels some pressure, and another drop pass. This is what happened to them last week in Barcelona. They dropped something like 7 in a row, 2 in a row there. Darryl Mitchell, the guilty man there. What can you do if you're a quarterback in this situation?
There's nothing. It's a good pass. He stands in against the rush because he's getting some pressure. Delivers the ball. It's right there, right in the belly. No excuse. Darryl Mitchell drops it. No excuse. First down right there.
The field goal unit is out. This one's going to be a 48-yarder for Krzyzewski, who's already missed from 38 and 46. And that one's going nowhere.
And that's going to take a lot of wind out of the Claymore's sails.
So another missed opportunity for the Claymores. They trail 14-7. We'll be back after this.
I think the initial hit is still pretty much coached the same way, in that you have to approach him facing the numbers and then wrap him up, and then if he slides one way or the other, it becomes an arm tackle. But you're also taught to get in there and to try to strip the ball carrier of the football. And I think defensive coaches are stressing that more and more.
NFL Sunday Ticket, up to 13 NFL games each Sunday. To sign up, call DirecTV at 1-800-781-4DTV.
Let there be football.
Some people were born to live the Western life.
All right, then, let's kill some people.
These people
I couldn't. I'm anti-handgun.
were born to leave it.
I say you're a bunch of sissies. Why don't you leave the West to the real men?
Oh, Butch, get over yourself.
So they blazed a new trail back east.
Wagons! East!
John Candy, Richard Lewis.
Are we there yet?
I will turn this wagon around right now.
Wagons East.
Playing this month on DirecTV.
Welcome back. Frankfurt leading Scotland 14-7, but just like last week, Scotland's receivers hit with the drops. One man who never dropped a pass during his NFL career, of course, is Mike Sherrard. Mike, can you explain what's happening here to the Scottish receivers? So just a couple of yards there on the pickup for the Frankfurt Galaxy. Lorenzo Graham gets the carry. Troy Ridgely made the stop.
Sander did a nice job coming over from linebacker. Concentration by the receivers. You get across the first down, you're watching the ball come in, you lose your concentration because the man's coming up behind you, or you're thinking about making the first down, not watching the ball?
So second
that's what
down and
Mike
8.
Sherrod would have said if he heard him.
Second down and 8. Justin swings it out to the left, picks up Bobby Olive. Mike, we've talked about the drops for the Scottish receivers. What do you think the problem is for them?
David, you sitting now. You sitting now. I got you. James, I got you. I got you. What's up, man? Let's go now. Let's go now. Further.
All right, Mike, thanks very much indeed. Third down coming up. Justin fires. Now Bobby Olive's turn to drop the ball. Concentration a problem there for him, perhaps. The good news for the Scots is that they will get the ball back with 6:25 left. This one not over by a long way.
Bobby Oliver just made one good play on a play designed to get him open. Goes through his hands again. Maybe that beating he took from Mario Bailey down the other end did something to it.
How do you explain it? There's no rain, there's no wind to speak of, and receivers that have been making catches all game, suddenly nobody can hang on to the ball.
I said concentration, Mike said concentration. The main thing in receiving is you're watching the ball into your hands. That's all you concentrate on.
Darren Alcorn gets a high punt. There was pressure straight through the middle. It takes a nice Frankfurt hop and will go out of bounds at around the 30-yard line.
And if Bobby Olive's thinking, well, I almost broke it last play. If I turn now, I can break it. That's just enough to stop your concentration on getting the hands around the ball.
Well, look at those numbers. Frankfurt now over 300 yards, all of it virtually in the second half. Scotland doing the damage in the first half, doing very little in the second half. Those numbers tell the tale.
I think that's why they call it a game of two halves.
I was waiting for that. It took you 3 weeks, but you got there. You've been dying to say that.
It took me 3 years.
First down for the Claymores. This a real big drive for them. The pitch back to Marcus Thomas, who doesn't get an awful lot out of the Frankfurt defense there.
And a flag's down on the late hit.
It's a personal foul against the Galaxy. That's the sort of thing that drives a coach crazy.
And it was a late hit. They did a great job of pursuing and stopping that, and one of the pursuers just came into the pile. I didn't catch who it was, but we'll find out from the referee.
His number will be called now.
We have a personal foul on the defense, number 95, unnecessary roughness. First down.
That's Gary Reed.
And you see Reed is on the left of your screen there, and he's going to come in right now. Bam! And once the guy's down, you're not allowed to come in and add your 2 cents.
That's late. There's late and there's late, and that was definitely an overtime hit there from Gary Reed, taken in the 41st round of the World League draft. 242nd player taken, and he's given the Claymores a first down. Williamson, with some time, puts one upstairs, looks for de Graffenried, and it's picked off. The ball was never going to be caught, and it was picked off by Johnny Dixon, the free safety.
And Williamson, it was a play action which worked, but Dixon was playing way back. He's playing center field on this one. And Williamson tried to lead de Graffenried, which put it right into Dixon's hands. There's the free safety just drifting back and back and back, and de Graffenried's there. And look at that, he's got the path to the ball, and it's right in his hands.
Well, Matt, Lee Williamson there, not a happy man, and Doug Williams not too thrilled with the play either.
And I think what Doug Williams is saying is you've got to look at where the free safety is when you put that up.
That a big, big opportunity for the Claymores. Now their defense has got to come up big once again. First down, Justin, hands off. They'll pick up a couple of tough yards on the ground up the middle. And that'll continue to eat up the clock.
Scotland's starting to get penetration from the ends again because Brandon and Young were in there. That got the play inside where the middle of the line could stuff it up.
When it's a Scotland ball, it's been called a fumble. And that has silenced everybody here.
It's Brian Jones who came up with the ball at the bottom of the pile. Gerald Jeffco coming out screaming at the offense to get going and do something. They're in the gold zone now. The red zone, the gold zone, they're inside the 20. They've got to convert this into points. And Matt Blunden is back in at quarterback for Scotland.
So Williamson comes out, Brian Jones, number 53, the man that comes up with the big play. I don't think Ernie Stautner can quite believe it. The chances they have given the Scottish Claymores. Blundin pitches back to Marcus Thomas, who has trouble controlling the ball and picks up maybe a couple of yards before he's pushed out of bounds. Gary Reid was certainly in on that play.
And we talked about the neutral zone infraction. We had it on that play with Frankfurt's defensive line stepping over, but the flags stayed in the referee's pockets. Fourth Frankfurt turnover. If Scotland come back to tie this game at this point, turnovers again will be the difference.
We've seen throughout this World League season the team that commits the most turnovers loses the ball game. That not happening here for Ernie Stautner's team, but it's not over, not by a long way. 5 minutes to go. The Claymores down by 7. Blundin calls a timeout.
Now Scotland have at least 2 turnovers of their own because there was Stacey's fumble and the interception, or else they'd have more points on the board as well.
So Matt Blundin again, a victim of the clock. That's why he called the timeout and goes back and talks with his offensive coordinator, Doug Williams. Jim Kreiner there, the head coach, to the right, and Lee Williamson in on the conversation as well. Well, this is the main event, but lots of activity around this match this afternoon. There was a German-American football game played this afternoon. 1 or 2 of these fellas were laying down some pretty good hits as well. Lots for the crowd to cheer and enjoy. And a lot of these fellas dreaming that one day they too will be emulating Ingo Seibert and scoring perhaps for the Frankfurt Galaxy.
He doesn't quite have the spike down yet, but it was a good run.
So here with 5:10 left, the Scottish Claymores will be looking to emulate what the Darmstadt Diamonds just did on that last play and put this one into the end zone. Ernie Stautner and Ray Wilsey, the defensive coordinator, in the foreground there as well. Darmstadt incidentally won that game about 56-0. This one a much closer affair. Big second down. Blundin with a lot of time, checks off one way, checks off the other, got his man, Tim Barnett, touchdown Scotland.
And they finally hit a wideout with a pass, and they did it off the play action. What we were talking about, what Bobby Hammond was talking about, it finally worked. They faked run, the defense read run, Blundin had time to look left, then go right to Tim Barnett.
Did they need that? And Tim Barnett, the former Kansas City Chief, came up big.
Now watch the linebackers, they're reading run, Blundin looks, now he turns the other way, and Barnett got both feet in. He only needed to get one.
Those old NFL habits, huh?
That's right, he only needed to get one.
Arden Krzyzewski has missed 3 field goals, so this is not automatic, and a bad snap. And Arden Krzyzewski's night of misery is complete, but that was not his fault.
And definitely a bad snap, and Matt Blundin couldn't get the ball down for Krzyzewski, and how big is that with 5 minutes to play?
That a huge play.
Snap was bad.
Instead of being level.
Snap was bad. Blundin couldn't get it down, and Krzyzewski could barely get his foot to it. And whatever Matt Blundin got said to him, he didn't like, and didn't think the referee should like it either.
So Arden Krzyzewski, who's already missed 3 field goals, now has an extra point miss tacked against his record, but there was nothing he or any other kicker could have done with that.
While NFL action is still months away, the NFL has launched a new season on the internet. NFL Sidelines is an online connection to your favorite teams and players. Connect on the net with NFL fans around the world and chat live with the biggest names in football.
This movie is rated R.
Plus special coverage of the 1995 World League season. The NFL moves into cyberspace with NFL Sidelines. Tackle the internet.
The moon is rising. The passion is growing. The animal is out. Nicholson. Pfeiffer.
Don't look so scared.
Wolf. playing on DirecTV.
Well, there's 5 minutes left here in the Waldstadion. 14-13, the Galaxy lead it. Their defense has come up big time and again. And the ball fielded at around the 19-yard line by Bobby Olive.
And not a smart play by Olive, because if that ball, which is heading out of bounds, goes out of bounds, you've got to kick again from 5 yards back.
Well, Barcelona have already won this evening. They've beaten the Rhine Fire. So Jack McNell's Dragons starting to find their rhythm. Of course, if the Monarchs beat the Admirals and the Frankfurt Galaxy beat the Claymores, we're going to have a four-way logjam at the top of the table. Of course, Amsterdam could beat London and just completely destroy that theory.
But Bobby Hammond doesn't even want to think about that.
I know, I'm sure he doesn't. I'm sure Bobby has seen enough of Amsterdam to know that that's a team you're not going to take lightly. A lot of us are looking forward to that one at White Hart Lane tomorrow afternoon.
Two teams have played Amsterdam and they both thought they should have beaten them, but they didn't.
Justin gets pressure, loses the ball, but did he manage to hang on to it? Mike Brandon came storming in, and this Scotland front are really starting to turn up the wick on Ernie Staunton's offensive line, and Justin is hurt.
Not just Brandon and Young, but Gerald Jeffcoat in the middle putting the pressure on too. They're really jumping at the Frankfurt line now.
With Jim Miller unlikely to return, I don't think they'd want to bring him back. They've got to keep Justin healthy. A loss of around 7 yards. Another big play from the Scottish D. Ernie Staunton knows this one isn't over.
If they bring their third quarterback, Brian Forte, in, it means the other two cannot come back into the game.
The handoff up the middle and not even back to the original line of scrimmage for the Galaxy. Nate Bolton, the crazy legs, not fooling Brian Jones, who's had a storming game at middle linebacker.
Jones and Sanders again combining to make a good tackle there, reading Bolton. They're staying at home right now to see what happens. They're getting that good drive from the front four. Lots of room for them to make tackles.
Third down and big for the Galaxy. If they convert it, that's big problems for Scotland. Pressure coming. Justin goes one way. It's short of first down yardage. Well short despite Sean Collins' efforts. Corris Irvin had made the stop.
Nice defense by the Claymores, because they went with 5 defensive backs and then they brought Tim Brown, the linebacker, into the pass rush, which meant Justin didn't have enough time to find an open receiver long. He had to go short.
Now, do you take a delay of game penalty here and just let the clock continue to run?
3 minutes left, there's no point.
But it means that the Claymores will get the ball back, trailing by just 1. High snap, well fielded. High kick, a bad one. Takes a super Frankfurt bounce. Took an extra 15 yards, bounced it around the 50, and it will be down inside the 35. Aaron Alcorn got a break there.
Very lucky on the bounce, because it was a short punt, but it went about to where it would have been if it had been a high punt and fair caught.
So the Scottish Claymores, in week 1, they lost by 2 points. In week 2, they lost by 3 points. Here, they're losing by 1. But they have 3 minutes and 7 seconds and 1 timeout, plus a timeout at the 2-minute warning. There is no crisis yet for the Claymores. Movement. Flags come in. Blundin gets a man who is wide open. Looks like he's picked up Darryl Mitchell, who will go out of bounds close to first down yardage, but a lot of movement on the line drew the flags.
The flag was a little slow coming, and it's funny because it looked like Darryl Mitchell was fighting that ball, maybe crossed hands up on the other side of the field as he caught that.
It's against the Galaxy. Encroachment will be the call. This is what Mike Brandon's been getting trouble with. Let's hear the call.
Offsides on the defensive right end. The penalty is refused. First down.
Well, they got the first down, blundered to Darryl Mitchell, so why take the penalty? Ernie Staunton unhappy with the officials. Perhaps thinking his man David Wilkins was drawn.
We said on the last series that they were getting into that neutral zone. I think that's what Wilkins did.
First down for the Scots. They hand it off to Ciaran Stacey, who doesn't find any running room at all, tries to cut back against the grain, runs into a wall of Galaxy defenders, amongst them Donald Reynolds.
Had the first hole, tried to pick his way through, and there was nowhere else to go.
And the clock continuing to run. It's down to 2:40 and counting. Second down and 9 for the Claymores, down by 1 at their own 45. And the crowd urging their men on. He's got a man open again. Stacey gets out of bounds and the first down. Big play from Saran Stacey. Nate Dingle made the tackle.
And Matt Blundin's doing what Doug Williams wanted him to do, which is fire the ball in there. And he fired that one to Stacey. That's what got them the first down.
Let's go!
Looking at the crowd here in the Waldstadion, a lot of fingernail chewing going on.
And not least on the Claymore's bench, because think about it. Right now you'd be playing to get into field goal position and kick the field goal. But how are you going to count on a field goal in this game?
They've lost 10 points in the kicking game in this match so far. They'll want to put this one in. Blundin goes upstairs. His man has beaten the coverage. Unfortunately for Scotland, Blundin's pass beat Daryl Mitchell too. Oh, Alan DeGraff, yeah, it was Daryl Mitchell was the intended receiver.
Just a little bit long. Mitchell was there. The pass about 2 yards overthrow.
Blundin, who's got that big arm, the man from the Kansas City Chiefs, and he showed the strength of that arm there. The incompletion does stop the clock with 2:14 left. They stay with the spread formation. Saran Stacey, the only man in the backfield, 3 wide receivers and tight end for Blundin. Reed tried to cut back. Once again, it's the Scottish passing game that doesn't seem to be quite in sync.
That's right, they're not getting a continuity of plays here. Now watch Blundin. He gets good time. Bodies are flying. And DeGraff Reed's there, but the pass is behind him.
There's Lee Williamson. He's done his work for the evening.
3rd and 10, this is a 2-play situation. They don't have to get the first down on 1 play.
And the game clock down to 5. Pressure coming. Is picked up. Blundin gets his man. If that's ruled complete, which it is,
and Mitchell's,
to Daryl Mitchell.
It's a first down. He ran a first down pattern, stepped right over the line.
That brings up the 2-minute warning. The Scots driving, but still down by a point. We'll be back after this.
When you get into this profession, this coaching profession, you dream of someday being able to lead your team out to play a Super Bowl. Now all of a sudden it's there. You have that opportunity. It's really a feeling that you can't describe. It's just such a feeling of contentment.
NFL Sunday Ticket, up to 13 NFL games each Sunday. To sign up, call DirecTV at 1-800-781-4DTV.
Let there be football.
The epic story of love and adventure. Wyatt Earp. He was a lawman. He was a hero. He fought with all his strength to protect the things he loved.
We'll make our own place where no one will find us.
Kevin Costner, Dennis Quaid, Gene Hackman, Wyatt Earp, playing on DirecTV.
He won a Super Bowl with the Washington Redskins, but all Doug Williams can do now is stand and watch and hope that the game plan that he has sent in can bring the Scottish Claymores their first victory of the 1995 World League season. 2 minutes left. They trail by 1, but they're at the 35-yard line of their opponents. And Blundin goes upstairs once again, overthrows his man. Once again, there was pressure.
He had to get rid of that one quickly. That's why he overthrew it. He just wanted to throw the ball away. They came with everybody on that 7-man rush. Blundin did a good job of getting it away. We asked Doug Williams about calling the plays. He said execution nowadays is so hard for a quarterback. Why not let the guy who stayed up all night watching the films call the plays?
Well, Doug also confirmed that if the quarterback wants to check off and call his own play, he can do so. He just better not get it wrong. Second down. What a series this for the Claymores. London steps up into the pocket. He's got his man, Alan de Graffenried, goes out of bounds. First down and more. Chris Hall took him out of bounds, but another smart play from the Claymores.
That time there wasn't so much pressure. The line did a good job of picking up the people who came, and Blunden did a good job of spotting his receiver and then getting the ball in there.
So they've moved the ball to the 21-yard line. If they had to kick a field goal from here, it would be about 37, 38 yards. But I don't think they're thinking in those terms at the moment. They have 1:47 left and a timeout. The Claymores looking to go on top. The give is to Saran Stacey up the middle, who picks up 4 or 5 on the draw play.
And Krzyzewski's loosening up the foot on the sideline, kicking into the net.
Doug Williams watching. Arden Krzyzewski. He's warming up, getting ready to do his work. 3 field goals.
It's been an awful day for Arden Krzyzewski.
Not all his fault, let's stress that. Second down and around 7 for the Claymores. Whistles, flags.
Blunden had trouble with the snap on that. So he may be called for moving out before he took the ball.
False start prior to the snap. Number 69 of the offense. 7 down.
Watch Dennis Dalkey, the right guard, in the middle of your screen here. There he is. He moves.
And I'll tell you what that 5 yards does, Mike. It pushes it to the edge of Arden Krzyzewski's field goal range.
Now you've got to start thinking more about time as well, because you've got to get the ball back inside.
2nd and 13. They've got to get it closer than this. Movement on the line once again. Flags come down. Everybody was bouncing around on that line. The tension down there is electric.
It's a good point, Nick, because that's what's causing it, is tension. Everybody's keyed up, trying to get the first move, first jump on the opposition.
There's a false start on the offense. Number 83, 5-yard penalty.
That's the tight end, Dwayne Chandler, getting assessed. Another 5 yards, and that's probably out of field goal range now.
Tight end's on the right. There he is. He reacts to the defender moving. See what the defenders are doing. They're simply loosening their arms and going down. He reacts to that, and that's offside.
So 2 small penalties, and it's 2nd and 20. And the crowd giving it full vent. Blunden drops, fakes, he's flushed out. It's tipped, it's incomplete. It's trouble for Scotland. It's big time defending from the Frankfurt Galaxy, and Greg Briggs in particular.
And now comes a big play for Scotland, because it's 3rd down and long, and they have to get the ball into field goal range.
1 minute left. Nobody's left this stadium.
Well, if they don't leave when they win 45-22, they're not going to leave today.
They never leave. They get here 4 hours early. I mean, it's just incredible coming to these Galaxy games. These fans, they're all over the place. 3-4 hours before kickoff. And they're all on their feet now. 3rd down and long. Blunden is nailed. Does a good job, and he's got his man. That is the big play of the season for the Scottish Claymores. He's out of bounds at the 1, but you will not see a bigger play than that this season.
Matt Blunden stands in, takes the rush, and gets the pass away and finds Daryl Mitchell, and Mitchell's just made up for that drop. Now watch this, the pressure isn't there yet. Blunden's looking for receivers, doesn't have them, but there comes the first bit and the second. He's in the grasp and he gets away, and look at the stuff he's got on that ball. I'm so excited I can barely get the words out.
And a superb bit of coverage there from Johnny Dixon, because Johnny Dixon has saved a touchdown there.
Now here's Blunden. The first pressure he doesn't see because they're pushing his own blocker back into him. Now he gets away, and look at that. He still had a lot on that ball.
I don't know how Matt Blunden got that play off. And I've seen it in slow-mo from every different angle, and I don't believe it still. 1st and goal at the 1. The pitch back is to Saran Stacey, who cuts back inside. Touchdown Scotland, they've gone ahead.
And Saran Stacey had the ball over his head as he went in, celebrating. This is so big for the Scottish Claymores. They've tried to hand this game to the Galaxy, and in the end they couldn't do it, and they grabbed it back.
What an extraordinary game we've seen. It may not be over yet,
Still 44 seconds to play.
Jim Kreiner saying this team is ready to explode. They have ridden their luck today. Arden Krzyzewski will be hoping for a decent snap and a decent hold. That's all a kicker wants. He gets it. It's straight down the middle. He made it look easy.
And it wasn't a great snap, because again, it was an inside snap on Blunden, but at least it wasn't on the ground. Now watch the touchdown again. Here comes Stacy, takes the pitch. Following Joe Mickles, he cuts inside off Mickles. The tackle's too late to come in. And from the low angle, you'll see Stacy get that ball up over his head. Goes inside to make, there he goes, see? Broke the plane of the end zone. I'm in.
They thought Saran Stacey broke the plane against Barcelona last week. The officials thought otherwise, but no doubt this time. But let's not celebrate too early. There's 44 seconds left, and there's still 3 Frankfurt timeouts available here. And given the big play capability of Paul Justin, their defense has really got to play heads-up football for another 44 seconds. That's a huge, huge drive for the Claymores. 12 plays, 67 yards.
Andre Hewitt, his first game for the Claymores, and he's had a big one at tackle. Claymore offensive line has done a tremendous job today.
Oh, he won't forget his World League debut in a hurry, that guy. And all the fans are still here, still on their feet. Krzyzewski squib kicks it, and it's fielded by Tony Harrison, number 2, who's looking to turn the corner. I said it wasn't over. It's not over. Harrison gets back to midfield. They're at midfield with 36 seconds left and 3 timeouts.
And that kind of a kick, you do that because you're trying to get it to someone who's not a good runner, and therefore you're going to give up a few yards of field position, but you're trying not to give up the big return. Harrison did a good job, fielded it cleanly, got outside.
Well, there's confirmation of the timeout situation. Still 3 left for Frankfurt, but a field goal not enough for them, of course. They've got to put it in to the end zone. There was a late flag there. The Galaxy don't need this going against them. We saw Paul Justin just hang his head there in the background. Ben Torriero coming off. No flag on the play. Lip reading our official. We saw Ben Torriero, number 44, limping off after his kickoff coverage.
It's funny how those flags have a way of just squeaking out of your pocket and going on the ground all by themselves.
So, whoops, was that mine? We've had some strange things happening in this game. We've had a Galaxy touchdown called back, and on the very next play, the Galaxy fumbled it up. We've had 3 missed field goals. We've had a bad snap on an extra point. We've had one of the most extraordinary completions of a pass you'll ever see. And it's not over yet. Justin out of the pocket, whistles, flags. Justin showing a bit of frustration there. That took 3 seconds off the clock.
Hey, we can only go so far with it, then they're going to throw the flag on us.
Listen, man, look at this sucker for
And that's tension on the Claymore sideline.
What's happening is all the defensive linemen are stunting around.
7 o'clock to 36 seconds. 36 seconds.
Well, that's a good call from the officials.
The penalty goes, but they want, since it's no play, they get the 3 seconds back.
I tell you, Jim Kreiner would like to see this one over. I'm sure Ernie Staunton would like to see it over, but there's not many of these fans that would. Justin, with time, goes upstairs, looks for Mario Bailey, and staying at home and doing an excellent job in coverage was Jocelyn Borgella.
A little bit behind Mario Bailey, and Borgella took the jump, got his hands on the ball. What we were saying before, the linemen are trying to draw each other offside. Both defensive lines are jumping around a lot. Sooner or later, they'll get called for encroachment. And there you see the ball underthrown. Borgella's right there. It's not going to get through to Mario Bailey.
And of course, the incompletion stops the clock. 2nd down and 15. Pressure coming. Justin feels it and goes down. And a huge defensive play from Alan Young, who was so dominant in the first quarter, coming up big time when the Claymores needed him.
And 2 linebackers and 5 defensive backs all dropping back and prevent defense. Only the 4 down linemen rushing, and Young did a great job.
Timeout called by the Galaxy, who are facing 3rd and around 23 after an 8-yard loss. They were up against it anyway. And obviously this is, as you say, Mike, earlier, this is a 2-play situation for Ernie Staunton's team.
Yeah, you don't need to get it all at once, but you've only got 23 seconds to play with, so basically you're down to about 3 plays in the game.
And of course, if you're thinking defensively for Scotland, you know that you can more or less give up the short yardage stuff because Frankfurt can take that all night now. They haven't got time.
Exactly. What you're talking about is really needing 2 good gainers and then 1 play for the touchdown, or else you've got to get it all in one go.
Certainly looking at the Scottish sideline, there's an awful lot of tension and activity going on down there. Jim Kreiner pacing up and down. Seemed to be having an argument with Doug Williams earlier. Mike Kenny, the national coach, came in and seemed to break that one up. Jim Kreiner is not celebrating yet.
Come on, boys, come on. Come on.
High snap, Justin does well to field it, but pressure coming from Mike Brandon. He gets his man, and outside and stopping the clock goes Mike Bellamy.
Which is just about the perfect play for that situation because they pick up yardage, they stop the clock without having to use the timeout. You could almost squeeze a 3rd play if you have 1 timeout left. You might have 1 or 2 seconds left on the clock and you can get the quick timeout.
But it brings up a 4th and 6. They've got to get to the Claymores' 40-yard line or this game is over. Out of the shotgun. He's got a man. It's a 1st down. James Williams on the coverage. It goes out of bounds with 11 seconds left.
It took them 2 or 3 to stop the clock with the timeout. So they've got to execute. If they want to get 2 plays out of this last 9 seconds, they've got to execute quickly.
Frankfurt take another timeout. There's 2 plays left. Jim Kreiner. This is going to be the longest 9 seconds he's experienced in a long, long time.
And Jim Kreiner still looking for that first win as a professional head coach.
He knows all about winning in this league, of course, with the Sacramento Surge in '92 as an assistant coach.
He's the offensive line coach there. He's had the head job at Iowa State and Boise State universities in America. But this one will be sweet because for 2 weeks he's been frustrated, and he was nearly frustrated tonight, and still could be.
This is going to be a tough loss for one of these 2 teams. At the moment, it looks like Ernie Stortner that's going to be going home unhappy. But you get the feeling that the Claymores, if they can just hang on here, it's going to give them such a surge of emotion and self-belief going into the rest of the season.
And we saw from those standings that if you're 1 and 2 after 3 games, you're by no means out of even that first half race.
Not at all. If London beat Amsterdam tomorrow, it's wide open still. 1st down. Justin steps up into the pocket. Everyone's gone back into pass coverage and nothing doing there. 4 seconds left. Time for just 1 more play. And all the Claymores dropping back into coverage there. Just 4 men stayed up. Kreiner sent everybody else back. And they've got to go for the end zone now. That's it. 1 shot only.
And for the Claymores, a short week. They played Monday in Barcelona. They flew back Tuesday to Scotland. They flew down here yesterday. They're playing on Saturday. They seem to have bounced back from that pretty well.
5-yard penalty, repeat, 1st down.
A penalty assessed against the Scots, who will repeat 1st down, but it doesn't bring those 5 seconds back. We're still down to 4 seconds for Paul Justin.
You see the 3 wideouts on the right.
Everybody will go into
Mary.
the end zone. They'll just hope for the best. Justin puts it up in the air. A lot of Scots there, and it's broken up. And the Claymores will win it.
And they call it a Hail Mary because you throw it up and it's a prayer that somebody comes up with it, but no one does. They bat it, the Claymores bat it down, they hold on for the win, their first win as a World League team.
Jim Kreiner's prayers answered tonight, his first win as a pro head coach. But what a heart stopper this one was. 14-20 after a game that had a little bit of drama, a little bit of everything.
And it was BJ, Brian Jones, who came up with that ball on the fumble turnover.
So the World League of American Football touches down in London after an absence of 3 years. And it's to a new stadium, White Hart Lane, normally the home of Tottenham Hotspur, but this afternoon the London Monarchs are back in town. And they face quite a challenge against the World League's only unbeaten team, the Amsterdam Admirals. Nick Halling, and joining me as usual, Mike Carlson. Mike, this one is not going to be easy for the Monarchs.
And a whole new definition of a flag on the play, watching that parachutist come down, Nick. And the game's not going to be easy. The Admirals have won 2 games the hard way, both times a tough team to beat. Al Luganbill, their coach, very successful U.S. college coach at San Diego State. Nobody wants the Admirals to go 3-0 and get a real jump on the rest of the league, because remember, in that first half of the season, the team that leads is going to host the World Bowl.
And if Amsterdam do go 3-0 here, it's going to be tough for Bobby Hammond and all the other head coaches to try and pull that one back. Here's the coin toss. The weather, well, it's a little bit overcast, a little bit windy, but we saw the punters and kickers warming up in practice, and the wind didn't seem to be bothering them too much.
We've been getting a lot of autumnal weather here in the springtime for the World League, and it's good football weather.
So the boys are back in town. The London Monarchs, after that 3-year gap, are ready to rumble against the Amsterdam Admirals, and it looks like the Admirals will receive. And so the Amsterdam Admirals get the ball first. As we take a look at that series note, the omen's good for the Monarchs, but Amsterdam, they tend to go ahead and hang on to that lead.
That's what's happened in both their first games. Both teams that they beat felt that they could have beaten the Admirals, and the Admirals felt they could have blown out both of those teams. So you can see how balanced that is. Maurice Spencer there, defensive backfield and special teams coach for the Monarchs. He's the guy responsible for this kickoff.
Don Silvestri, the kicker, will get us underway. Back deep, 2 men for the Admirals. Number 22, Ralph Dawkins. Number 26, T.C. Wright. Dawkins, a real danger man. We'll be hearing a lot of him this afternoon. T.C. Wright, his backup. So Silvestri waits to get us underway. American football is back in London. Low kick from Silvestri, fielded at the 8 by T.C. Wright, who looks for a bit of running room and gets to about the 35-yard line. Tony Brooks eventually tripping him up, but a pretty good return from T.C. Wright. Eric Stevens in on the tackle as well. Jamie Martin leads the Amsterdam Admirals, and he is from the Los Angeles Rams, an NFL allocation player on the Rams practice squad in '93, threw over 12,000 yards in college, and he's taken just about every snap for the Admirals. Most teams are rotating their quarterbacks, but Martin is getting the call in Amsterdam. First down, Admirals. And straight away, going into motion, the handoff is to number 22, Ralph Dawkins, who pushes his way for 5 or 6 yards. Gabriel Oladipo on the stop.
Dawkins, a nice little darting runner, gets low, runs behind the blockers, looks for his holes, hard to tackle for those big defensive linemen.
Ralph Dawkins will get a lot of playing time. David Jones is a danger man at the H-back position. Sanjay Beach and Ernie Jones out wide, both are proven NFL veterans. Trumaine Bell, the tight end. Second down, the handoff once again to Dawkins, who is stacked up at the line of scrimmage. Gabriel Oladipo again in on the tackle. Kevin Porter came up from free safety as well.
Good sign when the big guys in the center of your defensive line are stacking things up at the line of scrimmage.
The offensive line, Rob Baxley, the key man there at left tackle. He really is solid. Pale, Bock, Quarter and Sean Harper. That's a very tight, well-organized, well-disciplined unit.
The 3 guys in the middle, all young players who were free agents in NFL camps last year, looking for NFL jobs this year.
And it looks like a penalty has been assessed against the London Monarchs.
Too many men on the field, on the defense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
And that one of those calls that coaches hate.
It really hurts them in that situation too, because they've done a good job of stopping the run, brought up a difficult 3rd down situation. Now it's a 1st and 10.
So the Admirals looking to do what they've done in previous games, David Jones, the H-back number 80 in motion. Dawkins gets the carry once again and plows his way up the middle. Gabriel Oladipo in once again on the stop. Billy Lofton in there as well, the other defensive tackle. On the outside of that defensive line, A.J. Jenkins and Herman Smith. Jenkins was cut by the Amsterdam Admirals in training camp. He is a man with 1 or 2 points to prove this afternoon.
And we'll be seeing some of the newest London Monarch, Horace Morris, who is a good defensive end.
2nd down and 8 after the pickup of 2 from Dawkins. Motion once again from David Jones. And they go wide. They were looking for Ernie Jones, but the ball from Martin slightly underthrown. The linebackers, Rick Newbill and Nick Smith. Nick Smith holding his place on the outside. Newbill had a big game last week. Dave Hoffman, the middle linebacker, but Newbill outstanding in the win against the Rhine Fire last week.
He's played really well. And Nick Smith, yet another linebacker from Notre Dame. We've been seeing a lot of Notre Dame linebackers in the past few weeks.
And the Admirals have a couple as well who we'll be meeting later. 3rd down and 8. Big play coming up early here for the Admirals. And Martin goes nowhere. He's stuck. Jenkins came up and applied the pressure, and he got an assist from Hoffman as well.
The Monarchs brought their linebackers to put pressure on Jamie Martin. They had the receivers covered short because they know he likes to look short, and in that situation he would have to look short.
Now here is Darren Bennett, an NFL allocation player, out to punt. And he's an Australian, played Aussie rules football for 12 years. He's 6'5", one of the few punters who would probably fancy himself tackling in open field.
And he's got a strong leg.
High snap. Kenny McIntyre back deep, but Bennett booms it. And McIntyre calls for a fair catch and doesn't make it, but manages to recover. And no flags. McIntyre was bundled over, but no flags as yet. But they're a feisty, scrappy bunch, these Admirals, and I think they're looking to stamp their mark here early.
And you're not supposed to tackle the player or hit the player when he calls for the fair catch. Of course, he did drop it, but he then stopped his running. You can't advance the ball once you've fair caught it. It's like taking the mark in rugby.
So Kenny McIntyre not impressed by that. And what a punt from Darren Bennett. We've seen punters and kickers in this league struggle, but Bennett really winged that one.
And not only the strength in the leg, but also the control to keep it from going into the end zone.
So Brad Johnson gets his first outing of the afternoon. The man from the Minnesota Vikings has made a very solid start to his World League career. Completed 28 of 49 passes in 2 games so far, and a real team leader. 1st down and deep. They're at about their own 8-yard line. And the give straight away is to Victor Ebubedike, who pushes his way for maybe a couple. And it looks like the Amsterdam Admirals have got it.
And Victor's fumble, and it's recovered by Amsterdam. It's going to give them 1st down inside the 10-yard line. With your back to the wall, you don't want to be giving up the ball.
So a disaster early for the London Monarchs. Victor Ebubedike picking up 3 or 4 yards and fumbling. And that gives the Admirals outstanding field position. Mike, we were talking about how tough this Amsterdam defensive unit was. We just saw how tough there. 7 yards out for Jamie Martin and the Admirals. Dawkins gets the carry, and Dawkins picks up about 4 yards. Carlton Lance, number 20, came in and helped on the stop.
Good time to talk about that short end zone as well, as Dawkins does a nice job on it with his 2nd effort. It's only 7 yards deep here at White Hart Lane. It's not a full 10-yard end zone. That's going to restrict the routes that the receivers can run, make it a little bit harder for the offense to get the ball into that end zone.
2nd down and goal for the Admirals. Dawkins gets the call once again, is met 2 yards short. Edward Buck, number 27, came up with a big play there for the Monarchs.
And I think you'll find Nick Smith down the bottom, too, on the first hit there. Good pursuit by the Monarchs.
3rd and goal on the 1.
And just stuffed by Edward Buck. But still plenty of work to do for the Monarchs defensive unit. 3rd down and goal for the Admirals. Dawkins gets the carry once again and goes straight through the middle. And the Amsterdam Admirals break out on top inside the first 4 minutes.
Worst possible start the London Monarchs could imagine. They did a good job of holding Amsterdam. The punt put them back with their own backs to the wall, and then Amsterdam able to punch it in from the 7 in 3 plays.
Simple but effective. That is what the Amsterdam Admirals do.
Amsterdam with the best kicking game. Terry Belden here, the place kicker, is having a good year.
No problems with that extra point. It swirls straight through. So early in the first quarter, the Amsterdam Admirals do what they've done in the previous 2 games. 3 plays, 7 yards that drive. But what they've done is they've got ahead, and this team, when they get ahead, they tend to stay ahead.
And Al Luganville was saying before the game, even though they've won both games, he had 8 opportunities inside the 20 when they hadn't scored in those first 2 games. This time they got the opportunity inside the 20, and they punched it in. Let's look at the touchdown. See how low the offensive guard gets, and Dawkins goes right over his back. He goes low, takes his man down, and all Dawkins has to do is skip in. Watch, just to the quarterback's right. They go down, and Dawkins goes right over him.
So it's 7-0 in favor of the Amsterdam Admirals here at White Hart Lane, first quarter. And Al Luganville's team of scrappers and battlers have got their noses in front early here. Terry Belden will kick off. Kenny McIntyre and Stephen Hutchinson, the former London Olympian, back deep for the London Monarchs. So Belden gets us underway. The Monarchs, 1 play offensively, and it was a fumble. High end-over-end kick will be fielded by Kenny McIntyre, who looks for some running room and eventually runs into a wall, but not before he reaches the 38-yard line. In fact, that was Ronnie West, number 26, coming through there. 3 plays and 7 yards for Ralph Dawkins to cap it with a 1-yard run, but the Admirals getting field position off the fumble.
Now the Monarchs have decent field position for themselves, and the big thing here is you're only down a touchdown. Is just come out, play your normal game, get things moving, establish that offensive line like they did last week.
First down for Brad Johnson and the Monarchs. Deep drop. Got a man, he's got Tony Brooks this time, who is met and picks up maybe a yard before he was nailed. This Amsterdam defense very, very tough.
Big pursuit from the middle linebacker, Carmelia McGee, another one of those linebackers out of Notre Dame University. Closed that one down real quick.
There's Johnson's numbers on the season so far. Second down, Johnson fires, he's got his man. It's Allen who is nailed immediately by Ron Carpenter, the cornerback. That is going to be a key matchup tonight.
Ron Carpenter is one of the outstanding defensive backs in the World League. 4 interceptions already, and London's going without the huddle. They're trying to go quick now, give themselves time to do things on offense, and get Amsterdam off balance before they can get extra defensive backs into the game.
Third down, Johnson fires, he's got his man. Larry Wallace picks up a first down, takes it to the Amsterdam 48. Jay Phillips, the free safety, came up and made the stop, but another big play early from Larry Wallace.
Strategy worked really well, and you can't say enough about Larry Wallace, who's probably about 75% with that hamstring injury. Everybody knows it, and he's still catching passes.
Johnson dropping back the pass again, getting flushed out, and gets Tony Brooks, who makes a smart catch and picks up around 17 yards before he's brought down by Ron Carpenter and Robert O'Neill.
And Tony Brooks just gets a step on Cedric Figaro, and that's all he needs for the first down.
There's the catch from Brooks, and Brooks gets away from his man, and he's off to the races for a first down.
See, as soon as he gets that step, Brad Johnson's looking for him all the way, gets the ball to him. They're going to huddle now, get things started again, but this quick offense is working for London.
Gary Howard looks like who may be limping out. There's Tony Brooks, there's the tail of the tape on him, another Notre Dame veteran. Came out of the Philadelphia Eagles, and it's Malcolm Showell that's limped out but seems to be okay. Will sit out.
One of the reasons Amsterdam's D-backs can play so close is because they get such a good pass rush from that front 4.
Johnson dropping back, passes. There's a flag comes in. There's definitely a bit of holding there around Ronnie West. Johnson 4 for 4 going into that one, and definitely a penalty coming up, and probably against Amsterdam. Let's wait and hear the call.
holding number 52 on the defense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
That's Cedric Figaro. Now let's join the third member of our commentary team this afternoon, the New York Giants wide receiver Mike Sherrod.
In talking to Brad Johnson this week, he felt it was very important for the Monarchs to establish a short passing attack. Amsterdam has a strong pass rush, and the short passing attack would take advantage of that, and they've done it so far, and they've been real successful.
So some thoughts there from Mike Sherrod, now with the New York Giants. Spent time with San Francisco and Dallas. Johnson hands off to Brooks. Brooks looking to turn the corner and picking up 5 or 6 yards before he's run out of bounds. But the Monarchs mixing it up now with the run and the pass.
Nice blocking by the tight end Mike Titley too. Brooks goes around him and Titley seals the corner off. Gives Brooks the opportunity to make that yardage. There's Mike Titley.
2nd and 4.
And head coach Bobby Hammond wants to establish the running game. What he really wants to have is an offense with a dominant back, and he thinks Brooks can be that guy.
2nd down and 4 for the Monarchs. Once again, the give is to Tony Brooks, who will get close to first down yardage. He was stacked up by Carmelia McGill, number 90.
And the London offensive line performed really well last week. This week, Terrence Wisdom, who's finally off the injured list, is back in the starting lineup, so the line should theoretically even get better. Matchup to watch here is the right tackle, 73, Mike Moody, against 98, the defensive end, Bobby Hamilton. They both play for the Seattle Seahawks. Up there on the top of your screen.
3rd down and 3 for the Monarchs, and movement and flags. We'll have to wait and see whether the Amsterdam Admirals jumped or whether they were pulled. Mike Titley, number 82, the tight end, was certainly involved in something there as well.
I think you'll find it's Mike Moody who went forward, just as we were saying, keep an eye on him.
False start, number 82 on the offense, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
You got me, dude.
Mike Titley it was. And there it is.
Good job, Nick.
Well, I like to get one every so often, Mike. That was Bobby Hamilton running through after Titley jumped. So that makes it 3rd and long. Around 8 to go now for the Monarchs, looking to respond after falling behind early. Johnson pump fakes, puts it up in the air. He's looking for Larry Wallace. He's got him. Touchdown, London Monarchs.
A great play, great execution by both Johnson and Wallace. And they took advantage of the fact that everybody thinks Wallace isn't going to go deep because of the hamstring injury.
They went after Kelly Sims, the cornerback, in single coverage, and Larry Wallace got him.
If you're going to beat a team, beat them at their strong point right off the bat. They're going after the corners.
So the Monarchs do what they have to do. They come straight back against the Admirals. Don Silvestri will attempt the extra point. And straight down the middle for Silvestri. So we're all square here at White Hart Lane. It's the London Monarchs 7, the Amsterdam Admirals 7, and we'll be back after this.
That a player gets himself in shape, ready to play, weight training and all of the other things that improve a player to get him ready to play the game are certainly at the highest level that they've ever been. But when you go back to basics, and that's the old way of saying it, you have to go back to basics, and that's blocking and that's tackling.
NFL Sunday Ticket up to 13 NFL games each Sunday. To sign up, call DirecTV at 1-800-781-4DTV.
Let there be football.
All right, here's what we've got. We're being bombed. I've come here to create a new country for you called chaos, and a new government called anarchy.
His name's Ryan Garrity. According to the report, the guy can build bombs out of biscuit.
Blown away. Now playing on DirecTV.
Well, they love it here at White Hart Lane. The London Monarchs have christened their new home with a touchdown. Brad Johnson to Larry Wallace.
He gets good time, and you heard Mike Sherrod say they want to work the short game, and you saw Brad Johnson there with the pump fake. Going short, they bought the fake, and Wallace broke deep. He's open in the end zone. Johnson hits him. A beautiful play, great play calling, a great sequence by London because they came out, marched down the field, they ran it, they passed it, they mixed it up, and it's 7-7.
So Amsterdam give up a touchdown. They haven't given up many this season. Silvestri will find the danger man, Ralph Dawkins, at around his own 12 or 13. And stays on his feet, beats the first man, but doesn't manage to beat the rush. A.J. Jenkins, number 63, came in and made the stop. Jenkins, a man with a mission. There's Jamie Martin from Weber State in Utah, and picked up a whole bunch of collegiate records.
This guy threw 7 touchdown passes in one game against Eastern Washington University.
And finished up with over 12,000 yards in all, but not quite caught the eye yet with the Los Angeles Rams, but they're having a good look at him here, and he's getting plenty of playing time, which is what these young quarterbacks need. First down and a test for the Admirals. David Jones goes in motion, number 80. Martin looks the other way and had a man. It was Ernie Jones. Kenny McIntyre was on the coverage, but Ernie Jones let that one bounce off his hands.
Timing was just a little bit off there. I think Ernie Jones ran a route a couple of yards deeper than Jamie Martin thought he was. So the ball was there as he turned. It caught him by surprise.
There's Dave Hoffman. He's the spiritual leader of that Monarch defensive front seven, the middle linebacker. And a real tiger.
And in effect, the quarterback of that defense calling the sets for them.
Second down, the Monarchs looking to shut down the Admirals. Jones goes in motion. Carlton Lance mirroring his every move. And they're looking to spring Dawkins, who's going nowhere. Kenny McIntyre comes up from left cornerback, and that one's shut down. Ralph Dawkins is a man you've got to watch.
Shut down by Herman Smith, who got great penetration from the defensive end, forced Dawkins inside. You can see all the things that he does for you. Lots of good things happen if you can get him the ball.
Well, they shut him down there, but there's a long way to go yet. Ralph Dawkins, as you can see, leads the World League in just about every offensive stat. Third down and a bunch. 5 defensive backs in for the London Monarchs. And Jamie Martin checked off and looks to try and get out of bounds, but he's short of first down coverage, first down yardage. The London Monarchs covered his receivers, and Rick Newbill eventually pushed him out of bounds about 3 yards short.
Now Martin's got nobody to throw to there, so he thinks he sees an opening and takes off. Then he sees Newbill coming up. Newbill was back in coverage, and even though Newbill misses the tackle there isn't a lot of room for Jamie Martin to get the first down.
So defensively, the Monarchs hold once again, but out comes Darren Bennett, the Australian. Kenny McIntyre is back at his own 15, but Bennett is smoking these punts here. They came after that one. Bennett gets a nice spiral, and it's going to drop around the 20 and take a nice Amsterdam hop.
And that's another one of those perfectly placed kicks. He was going for corner, and he got it inside the 20, right down to about the 10, nearly out of bounds.
So Darren Bennett pushes the Monarchs deep. They will take over after this.
And to this reporter, it's obvious that these strike negotiations are going nowhere fast.
Well, I've had just about enough.
Let's go.
Excuse me.
Love the shoes.
What were we thinking? After you. No, after you.
Life is good.
When you've got the great taste of an ice-cold Miller Lite, life is good.
Our work here is done.
Play ball.
While NFL action is still months away, the NFL has launched a new season on the internet. NFL Sidelines is an online connection to your favorite teams and players. Connect on the net with NFL fans around the world and chat live with the biggest names in football.
This movie is rated R.
Plus special coverage of the 1995 World League season. The NFL moves into cyberspace with NFL Sidelines. Tackle the internet.
These drug cartels represent a clear and present danger to the national security of the United States.
It is my duty to report this matter to the Senate Oversight Committee.
I will not let you dishonor their memories by pretending you had nothing to do with it. How dare you come into this office and bark at me? I am the President of the United States. How dare you, sir?
Harrison Ford.